And hey, Joe, you ain't got to hear the soundbite, the Lion King soundbite.
Thank God.
Actually, whenever you've been on and Tricky's not here, you ain't got to hear the soundbite. So a little bit of luck.
I know, it's amazing. It's a breath of fresh air. Like, I absolutely hate that. Like it's literally like nails on a chalkboard. Like if nails were a crappy Lion King soundbite. And no offense to you guys, it's not you guys. It's I don't know what it is about it. I just fucking hate it. Like it's so terrible to me, and I don't know why, but I can't get over the fact. And he knows I hate it at this point, so like he shouts it out every week, which he irritates me even more. And I should no sell it and not let it get to me, but it always does. So I appreciate you guys not having to have me suffer through that today.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One,
Steve,
and Sid.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trophy Horses, episode 579. And we're in the throes of summer. It's hot as hell outside, and you got to cut your grass all the time. And man, the news isn't just coming in droves like it was. It's coming out in trickles. But we still got plenty of good stuff planned for you guys. We still got plenty of entertainment because alongside me, I got Yield running shotgun.
I thought I had something witty, but I don't.
Well, you know what, Yield? I hate to say, you're going to have to share the space because I'm not going to make this other person. You both got to sit shotgun. I can't make somebody sit in the back. It's our good friend Joe Priestley.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going really good, Joe. I mean, like I said, it's hot as hell outside, but we have confirmed DLC for Shredder's Revenge. I know it's been announced weeks ago, but you and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, so I'm super excited for that. Let the speculation run wild about what's going to be part of that DLC.
I think we're going to get more than one character.
Well, they said new characters, new playable characters.
I know, I saw that too. You got that too from that trailer? It said characters, plural. Who do you think they're going to add besides Yojimbo?
Well, somebody did a piece, like a screen-by-screen breakdown of the trailer, and there were some characters in the background, like Tattoo and Ace Duck, and was it Scumbag? Was he one of the other ones? There were a few characters in the backgrounds of, including the little mosquito guy who's with Wingnut. I can't remember his name, but yeah, there were some characters in the background. So I guess that would, kind of signal that these characters are not going to be in there.
Screwloose.
Screwloose, yes, that's the one. He was in the background. I've heard some people say Mondo Gecko. I've also, because there are other new levels besides Usagi's level. So I think a lot of people have been saying Mondo Gecko. Ray Fillet would be a good one too, I think. I want Hothead, but I don't know if Hothead would be as a playable character as a boss.
What about the frogs?
Yeah, kinda, yeah, but they were never fighters, really. I mean, granted, I don't know, they've started to throw April O'Neil as a fighter in these things, and she was classically in the TV series, TV series, not a fighter. So I guess they could do them, but also they had cameos in the main game, so I would like to see others.
She was awesome in the game, though. Did you play as her?
I played as all of them. I got them all leveled up completely, so I can get the platinum trophy.
Did you do it legitly, or did you just face Super Shredder over and over again?
Oh, I did legitly. What I would do is I would finish the campaign with each character, and then I ended up playing the same level over and over again. I think it was the second level. I just grinded out through the second level. So, yeah, it was a grind, but I did it. But also I think that I'm wondering with the new DLC if they're going to do, add any new levels and bosses at the end, or if they're just going to do, because they said a new mode, and I wonder if it's a wave-based survival mode that you have just, here are you and your friends, and you just see how far you can go as, more and more foot soldiers teleport in.
I think they're going to add a lot to this. I do. Honestly, I'm kind of mad that we're getting DLC. I wanted it from the jump, but
Sir, what is wrong with you? You're mad about DLC for Shredder's Revenge? What, with something we thought we would never get?
Listen, they said that they weren't going to do it, and then they're like, oh, now we're doing it because the game did so well. But honestly, I'd just rather have a new game. And and I know you probably feel the same way too. Like I want a sequel to this already.
But Joe, I guarantee the next game they do is not going to be a sequel.
I don't think they're going to do another Turtles game for a while.
Exactly, which is my thing is add on to this as much as you can to give us as much as you can, because I guarantee their next game is not going to be a sequel to this. We're not going to get another Turtles beat 'em up for a while.
I don't know about that. I think we'll get another one very soon. I just don't think it'll be them that makes it.
Well,
I do think we'll get another one. I think there was an extremely missed opportunity with the new movie that's coming out. Extremely missed.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to beat 'em up based on that movie. I'm not saying the movie's not good or it won't be good. I just don't want it based on that movie. I want it based on, the 80s, 90s cartoon like they did with Shredder's Revenge. Like, that's what I want it based on.
Are you excited for the movie at all?
I mean, not really.
You're not? I'm extremely excited.
I mean, I'm not saying it won't be good. I'm just, like, there's a certain specific era of Turtles that I really like. And it's that one I had growing up. So all the other ones past then, I don't care. I just don't care.
Did you, have you watched any of the other iterations?
I mean, I've watched some of them. The early 2000s one, I played the beat 'em up games with, based on those. Honestly, wasn't a fan.
No, those are really good. I really like those games a lot. Those PS2 ones, yeah, those were good. I think
they were fine. It's just like when you want more Turtles in Time, those games just can't compare. I'm sorry. Like that's the way that I look at it. To me, the pedestal that Turtles in Time and even Hyperstone Heist, Turtles 2 the arcade game, Manhattan Project, and now Shredder's Revenge, what that sits on, like all these other games aren't even close to that.
I honestly think that Shredder's Revenge was better than Turtles in Time. I know, that's like sacrilegious to say, but
no,
I think
not. It's not. A lot of people agree with that. And
I think it's the best Turtles game ever made. Period.
I think it's the best beat 'em up ever made.
I like Streets of Rage 4 a little bit better.
Streets of Rage 4 is very good, but
I love that. I love that game.
Yeah, it's very, very good,
and it got a lot of content. So that's why I'm like, kind of like, all right, they put a lot into Streets of Rage, so I'm thinking that we'll get just as much love for this. I mean, it's far, like it's really far away from the original release, so that's why I'm like, whoa, I'm surprised you're even doing DLC at this point.
Well, I'm sure they had to take time to build it. I mean, because the Streets of Rage DLC, if you remember, that came out more than a year after its release. The Mr. X's Nightmare. That's
true. It was just about a year past, wasn't it? Like just about. I would say just about a year.
Yeah, and it was I don't know how to pronounce it, Dotemu or Dotemu, but it was they were the ones who had a hand in both those games. Obviously, Tribute Games is the ones who developed Shredder's Revenge, but I think Dotemu was the publisher, maybe.
Correct. I think it's interesting the whole story behind like how they wanted the Ninja Turtles license first, and then they got Streets of Rage, and because they did so well with Streets of Rage, they were able to convince them to give them the license.
Yeah, when we talk about a renaissance for horror movies in the last, I'd say, 5 years, well, there's been a renaissance on the beat 'em up, because everyone thought for a while that was a dead genre, and here we are with arguably two of the best beat 'em ups ever made in Streets of Rage 4 and Shredder's Revenge, both coming out in the last 3-4 years. So
they really are that good. Like honestly, like I was surprised how good Streets of Rage was when it came out. Like I was like, oh man, I remember how much I wanted to play that game, Alex. Like I waited till like 4 a.m. to play it, and it just never dropped on the store. So then I had to go to bed and wake up at like 11 when it finally went live on the service. Actually, I don't think it went live till like 1 p.m. like West Coast time. And I was like, damn, like, and I was still excited to play it. But that was really one of the ones I was like, oh man, why is this up at midnight?
Yeah, that's happening more and more. I had to wait for Dead Space. Dead Space didn't come out at midnight. You had to wait until the early morning. Like it was like 8 to 11 hours after midnight when you could play it, and that kind of pissed me off. So
yeah, it just doesn't make any sense sometimes what they do with these games. Yeah.
Before we roll on, Joe, because I'm sure that if Tricky were here, he'd be sighing up a storm because we're sitting here talking Turtles. But Streets of Rage 4, did you ever get the Mr. X's Nightmare DLC?
Yes, I did. It's one of the only DLCs I've bought all that console generation.
Have you gotten to the 30th tier in the essentially Danger Room style mode?
No, I didn't. You beat. I'm guessing you beat it, right?
I did not. No, I cannot get to 30. I think 24 or 25 is the highest I got, but it's too. And there's a trophy for getting to level 30. So
of course there is. So that's got to be eating away at your soul.
I'm at 98%, Joe. I'm at 98%.
That's the last trophy you need?
That is the last. I got all the rest. I literally grinded through and unlocked all the alternate moves in the Nightmare DLC.
Oh, those were so cool. That was such a cool system, and I was praying they were going to do something similar with Turtles, and maybe they do, because like they didn't add any of that stuff till after the game launch. So
yeah, very well. They could very well.
So they could very well do that.
Maybe if I call on you in the future, would you be willing to help me?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. That sounds like fun.
All right, we'll see. Yield, sir, you're still awake, aren't you?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. I know you never got Shredder's Revenge, so us going off on a tangent. Just want to make sure you're still with us.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine.
Yield, you got premium, right?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, man, you'd have Shredder's Revenge right now if you had premium.
That's all right.
That's right. I don't know if we've ever talked about on this show, but one of the extra games now is indeed Shredder's Revenge. So, yeah. If you do have extra and you have not played Shredder's Revenge, it's there for you. Yield, sir, how's your week been going? I feel like we haven't heard from you enough.
It's been pretty good. I didn't... I played a lot of games, but I played several games for a long time, for a good amount of time, but I didn't pop as many trophies as I would have liked. But that's okay. I was enjoying what I was playing.
You helped Nitro with some, Zombie Army 4?
Zombie Army Trilogy, actually. Him and I, we made it through Sniper Elite difficulty.
And I know that your brother went out, I believe it was your brother, right, who went out hunting for some local game shops for some stuff, some collectibles, and he ended up picking up Fist, Forge, and Shadow Torch, and he got like a bunch of like lithographs and stuff that came with it. It was like the original like physical release for the PlayStation 5, wasn't it?
I think he got it for the 4, but yeah, it still had all the stuff with it, which is pretty surprising.
Now I bring that up because I have, I'm a huge fan of that game, and I, talked big about that game when I was playing it when it first came out. Have you gone back and played it yet?
No, I've got it in my backlog to play. I picked it up on a sale, but I have not played it yet.
All right, I was hoping you had, and you could talk about it. But Fist, Forge, and Shadow Torch is such a fun game. So, Joe, have you played that game?
I have not played that.
Oh, god damn it!
And Yield. Is that made by the Sniper Elite? Do they make the Zombie Army games?
Yes. It's all made by Rebellion.
Damn. I'm gonna want to check that out because I love Sniper Elite, man. That's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, Zombie Army's pretty good. Zombie Army Trilogy was originally, I think, just kind of like a spoof. No, I shouldn't say a spoof, but it was kind of like it was a computer-only thing, and it kind of blew up. So they brought it to console because it was like 3 episodes. And then that did really good, so they made a sequel called Zombie Army 4. So, I mean, if you like Sniper Elite, you're going to like Zombie Army.
Yeah, I love Sniper Elite. That's like one of my favorite franchises. Like, guilty pleasure franchise, honestly. Like, if I just want to, like, turn on a game and just like, be, like, mindless, like, I love that game. So,
oh, yeah. I have seen, what do I got to do next? I got to go to Sniper 4. I got to finish the DLC for Sniper 3, but I got the plat for Sniper 3 earlier this year. I got to do Sniper 4 before I move on to Sniper 5. I love that series. It's just the kill camera makes it, but it's just a fun game.
Well, it seems, I guess it's my fault as the host. We kind of jumped ahead here and talking about stuff we're playing, but before we, move on to our trophy shield, I do want to do a little bit of shameless plugging for one of the other podcasts, the podcast you do with Tricky about The Mandalorian. You all released the 3rd episode last week, correct?
Yes, correct.
And then we have the 4th coming up this week. Were you all able to record twice last week since Tricky's on vacation?
No, we just got the one in.
Okay, so we won't have an episode this week, but the following week?
Well, no, sorry. Yeah, well, we got recording Wednesday, so there should be one released for last week. We'll still, unless something happens, we still should be able to record this week to be released on, I think it's Friday.
Okay, so yeah, if you all are premium members of our Patreon, you will have access to the Mandalorian episodes with Tricky and Yield, starting on the 1st season and then moving through the 2nd. So yeah, look forward to some Star Wars talk from some true fans. I know Yield loves the Mandalorian, so I'm sure that he's got plenty to say, right, Yield?
Yeah.
Now, are you watching it all from the beginning, Yield?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, we went back from the very beginning. Tricky was going to jump from season 2 to season 3, and I said, you can't do that.
I mean, not if you want to actually understand what's going on.
Well, that's why I told him. I'm like, if no one's watching the show, but they're listening to this, and you go from season 2 to season 3, you're going to start talking about stuff in season 3, and people are going to be like, what? But it was explained in Boba Fett, so you have to do it in order.
Yeah. All right, shameless plugs out of the way while we go ahead and shamelessly tout our amazing trophy counts. Tricky is a level 875 with a total trophy count of 28,185 with a platinum count of 773. I am level 483 with a total trophy count of 8,916, a platinum count of 149 in 148 games. I got 2 platinum trophies this past week.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you all, but still was not good enough to keep Daryl off my back in the annual rarity event. He has surpassed me with an amazing score this past week, so congratulations on Daryl. I'm pretty sure that I'll now be in your rearview mirror, but
just go auto pop it like everybody else is doing, and then help it decay, and then you'll get the points.
Yeah, but that doesn't work as well as you guys think it does, because you have to really have a lot of people pop trophies, because you have to think of how many people played the game to get it to decay like that.
Yeah, it's true. And to be honest, I want to play the games that I want to play, and hopefully they'll accrue me some points. I don't necessarily want to go through all that and be like, oh, I'll play games that other people are playing, because in the end, it may not help me. So, like I said, Daryl jumped me in by quite a decent margin now. So I'm just going to play my style and see where I end up in the end.
There you go. That's what I've been doing.
Yield, sir.
I am a level 500 with a trophy count of 9709 and a platinum count of 175.
Sid is level 834, total trophy count of 23,343, and a platinum count of 721. Heads up, we do have Sophie's trophies for this week. Sid is back, so look forward to that. Joe, sir, do you want me to read off your trophies, or do you want to do the honors?
No, you can go ahead and do it tonight.
All right, I'll be the limo driver in this scenario. Level 467, total trophy count of 10,699, and a platinum count of 32 for our good friend Mr. Joe Priestley. Which is a good place to step off into what we've been playing. Can't earn trophies unless you've been playing shit. Joe, sir, you are the honored guest, and I'm sure that, people keep up with us a little bit better than they do with what you've been playing. So how about you kind of just share everybody first with what you've been playing?
Sure, I played a lot this week. Mainly,
you usually do, to be very fair.
I do. I keep myself busy.
And that's not an insult. You tend to jump around between games more than Yield and I do. At least specifically more than me, because I'm on the one game track and I just go.
Honestly, it's like video game ADHD though. It's not because I choose to do it. It's because I have to do it to keep myself entertained. Like I can't just play something and not jump around from thing to thing. It's actually
jump up and get down, young man.
Jump.
It calls to him. The thirst calls out to him.
It's a curse, honestly. It's a blessing and a curse. Because there's a reason why I have a massive shelf of video games, and I have a shelf almost complete that's 2 rows deep, and I would say each shelf has 40 games on each row, so it's about 110 games deep that are finished, and then there's one top row that's full that I haven't finished, a second row that's almost full, and then a third row that I started filling. So I have a lot of stuff to play, and that's just counting stuff that's physical. That's not counting any digital stuff. So,
do you ever say to yourself, you know what, I might as well go through and clean this shelf off because some of the stuff I'm never going to get to?
So right now, I'm really into just playing my backlog and not doing anything else but playing my backlog. I'm not buying anything. I bought Final Fantasy, I bought Street Fighter, and then I told myself, these are the ones I wanted for this summer, and I'm pretty good at this point. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, but that's this summer. Realistically, as a guess, how many years, decades even, would it take you to clear out your backlog?
It depends.
Let's assume that you were able to beat 2 of those games a month.
So it depends. I average on a good month. I beat at least 6 games a month on average, and that's a good month. But I will tell you, I've become what I like to call a bitch ass gamer, because I play everything on easy at this point because I'm just trying to beat games at this point. I'm not trying to challenge myself anymore. And I know that may sound sacrilegious to two guys like you guys, because I know you guys pride yourself.
No, if I can play through difficult games, but also I'm about having fun, and I'm not going to. I mean, like the Horizon DLC. I played through the game on normal. I beat the game on ultra hard as well. But the DLC I just played on story mode because I was like, you know what, I have nothing else to prove when it comes to this game, so I just played on story to enjoy the game. And I wasn't trying to challenge myself. I was just like, let's just go through this and have fun.
I just think like everyone should play games the way they want to play them, and no one should be ridiculed for it. Like that's my big thing. Everyone should have fun when they're playing games, and I feel like I have the most fun when I can just beat something and just get through it. But to really get back to what I've been playing, I played Sonic Frontier this week. A lot of Sonic Frontier because I just wanted to finish it. So I just plowed through it like a bat out of hell. Like I literally just played it nonstop for like 3 days and just finished it because I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like it got to the point where it just got too samey, and you were pretty much just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I was like, even though I like the game and I like playing Sonic games, what makes Sonic games fun are the Sonic levels, and that's not mostly what you do in that game. So, yeah. It kind of takes the essence out of Sonic for me. So I was like, all right, well, the game's great. It runs great. It plays great on the PS5. But for the most part, I'm like not enjoying myself anymore. So I was like, all right, can I finish this in a timely fashion and get it off my hard drive so I can put something else on my hard drive? Because, you know, hard drive space is a commodity now. As you all know, it's not something we can take for granted anymore. Like, hard drive space is a real thing you have to consider when you're playing modern-day consoles.
I regularly have to delete games. I'm at the point now with the PlayStation 5. I had it for almost 2 years at this point. I think 2 years, yeah. And I'm already having to delete games to make room for, like, every time I want to download a game, depending on the size of it, I have to delete something from my hard drive because I can't fit any more on there.
I had to delete stuff for the first time the end of the middle of last month to put Star Wars on.
Oh, yeah, because it's like 100 gigs, isn't it?
Yeah. Which was fine because there was several games that I had on there that I had platinumed, and there was no DLC for, so I was like, I don't need this one, I don't need this one, I don't need this one, so I went through and I did that. All the games that are done, I deleted them off.
No, it's like really interesting the way like gaming has gone in the last like generation, where like games like Call of Duty are like 300 gigs. Like that's ridiculous. It's like over half the size of your hard drive for your PS5. Like that's insane. Like how are you supposed to play anything else? It's like they don't want you to play anything else, really.
Luckily, storage space generally becomes much more affordable as time goes on, and
yes and no. I mean, I feel like the solid state drives, because the way they are, they're going to stay expensive for a little bit because they're new technology. But I feel like, yeah, as you go, they will get cheaper. But right now, still pretty
as time goes on, like I'm talking about with like the PS6 or whatever, you know, they're going to, if these games are going to be this big, as the budgets for these games continue to balloon up, and as the size of these games gets bigger and bigger, because, you know, there's a mindset within the industry that you have to market games that are bigger and bigger. Like every Arkham game had to be bigger than the other one. Everything always has to be bigger and bigger. That these console makers are going to have to figure in for that, and it's going to be either you're going to have to stream it, or you're going to have to give people more hard drive space, because how are these games going to eventually fit on console hardware?
I feel like that bigger is better mentality doesn't always work out for them, does it?
No, it's not. It's stupid. Jeff talked about this last week. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, we had Jeff Hanna on, and another fantastic episode. Matt G was also on with us. Just a great time. But Jeff said, I can't remember the exact quote, but he basically said that he would rather play a game that was fun, that was shorter, than some experience that was just bloated for the sake of being bloated. Like, well, we got to hit a 60-hour mark, so we're just going to put whatever in there. I think that games like Assassin's Creed, like, while they do have very fun mechanics and there's a good core there, a lot of exploring those worlds is just bloated bullshit for the sake of saying you have a giant world for people to play in. And I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I don't want to just put like one objective in this, this sector of this world, and that'd be the only thing there, just so I have to spend a half an hour doing that task, checking that task off that list. Make stuff fun, make stuff make sense, and just don't say that, well, this sequel's worth your money because the map is, 10 square kilometers or 10 square miles bigger than the last game we had. That I don't like that aspect of gaming, but maybe they will in fact start to reel it in. So yeah, sorry to go on that little tangent there, Joe, but what else has been on your list, sir?
Oh,
I don't even actually think you got started because I asked you about how long it would take you to finish your backlog, and
well, I did get started. I started talking about I beat Sonic Frontier, so that was fun, and arduous. It's just really repetitive. That's all. Like, other than that, the game is really fun. If you can get it for cheap, I would say pick it up and play it. But other than that, if you don't have to, don't. I'm more excited for Sonic Superstars. That game looks amazing, and it's made by the people, some of the people who worked on Sonic Mania. So, looks really good. I'm playing Street Fighter 6 currently. That's really fun. There's a lot of cool things you can do. There's like a battle hub, and you can face people online. And then there's a full story mode called World Tour mode, where you create an avatar, and then you pretty much go around the world of Metro City from Final Fight, and you just talk to different Street Fighter characters, and you become like their basically like their senpai, and you just learn from them. And then you master their fighting styles, and then you can go on and you can do it with other Street Fighter characters, and it's really cool. I'm actually really digging Street Fighter 6. It's actually really good, and there's a lot to do. And even if you're like a fighting game novice, it's not like that difficult to pick up and play. They actually have like a control style, like where everything's like one button press instead of like quarter circle back, quarter circle forward, and or a charge, like a hold down and like let go. Like, they made it really simple for like everyone to kind of jump in and play. So I'm really digging it. I'm liking what they're doing with the franchise. I was a little worried after 5 because I didn't like 5 too much, and I really love 4. But 5, the only thing 5 had over 4 is just character roster was just insane. And I think they're going to do it again with this one, where they're just going to add like a copious amount of characters, and this game's going to have a pretty long shelf life. So.
Well, I mean, really, when you're this deep into Street Fighter, the series is about 30 years old. When the roster has been so big and you've added so many characters to the lore, how do you cut it back down without causing, some consternation from people?
I mean, I feel like it's the same problem that Mortal Kombat's facing right now, where they're kind of like retconning everything and like going back to Mortal Kombat 1. Like, they're doing like an alternate timeline because they have to find a way to go back because they can't. You've created like this whole universe, really, that people expect every game, and they expect it to continue. It's almost like, what the hell are they going to do for Smash Brothers? The next Smash Brothers. What are they going to do? Like, Alex, what could they do? Like, they gave you like 84, what was it, like 90 characters I think it topped at? Was like 92? Something like that.
I can't remember how many it was. It was a lot, but that game in particular, PlayStation Podcast, I know, but Smash Brothers, just to answer your question here, Joe. Obviously, we know Masahiro Sakurai is not going to be part of it, and he's the guy who's been behind every Smash Brothers game since the game.
If you believe that for 1 second,
I've got
$1 for you, sir, because I don't think
you better
that's
pay me. I'm worth more than $1, Joe.
Listen, man, it's not happening. If there is no Smash Brothers without Sakurai, I really think so. I think that some way he will be involved in the game. He may not be the creative director, but he will be one of the guiding hands for the franchise going forward. I don't think he'll be as involved as he was. He brought a lot of young pupils along the journey for this one, and even having like Bandai Namco come on and help him finish the game or get the game across the finish line, and also contribute more to different fighting styles that were prevalent in the game for the different characters that were featured. So Ryu, Bayonetta, stuff like that. It was very interesting for all those characters to be programmed in the game, but it really showed that there, again, bright future to the franchise. But yeah, it's you can't hit the reset button without getting rid of a lot of people's main characters, which will piss a lot of people off. And I feel like we haven't seen the last of Smash Brothers Ultimate. Honestly, I feel like we're gonna get another version of it released with all the DLCs still intact, all on the cart.
Yeah, but that doesn't do anything for the people who want a new Smash Brothers game or new characters. That game came out. That game's gonna be 5 years old.
Okay, well, it's already 6 years old because
it came out in 2018.
No,
it did.
Did it?
Hmm.
I thought it came out the first year of the Switch. It came out the second year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, early second year. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
But I think what they'll do with the next one is, I don't think Sakurai will be heavily involved, if at all. But I think, and you're not going to see as many guest characters because I guarantee Nintendo's not going to want to pay for all that again. So I think that you'll see maybe a couple of guest characters, Sonic, Mega Man maybe. But I think that, like Square Enix, you're not going to see a lot of Square Enix in there because, again, they're not going to be able to pay for it. But I think you'll see a smaller roster focused on more Nintendo characters, more characters they own, and they'll just add from that instead of going out and adding and paying for the use of characters like Banjo and all them.
I mean, that game had to be extremely expensive to make. And Yield, like, have you played any Smash? Do you have Smash, Yield?
No.
I know you have a Switch.
No, my brother is a Smash Brothers person.
I didn't know if you got down at all with your brother playing Smash.
No, because I suck at fight games.
Hey, it doesn't mean you can't play. Like, just because you suck at something doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
I don't enjoy them because I suck that bad.
I do think that Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter have two very different approaches to making games, because obviously Street Fighter is going for our release is going to be out and supported longer, and because I think both 4 and 5 had a really long tail.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think that Mortal Kombat was under-supported. Like, it was a good year of DLC, and then you got DLC characters, and then you got constant support with the towers. So, like, the towers are still supported to this day. Like, you can still do all the online stuff in Mortal Kombat 11, and that game is phenomenal. That is one of the best fighting games I've ever played in my life. Like, if you haven't played Mortal Kombat 11, do yourself a favor and go pick it up, because it's, like, dirt cheap now. And just play through the story. The story is amazing in that game. But not only the story, like, all the towers and all the things, all the content that they smashed into that game it's well worth it. Like, anybody who, has a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 should definitely pick it up. Or an Xbox, if you have an Xbox, I mean.
I wasn't really saying that they undersupported the game. I'm just saying that with Mortal Kombat, they release Mortal Kombats more frequently than Street Fighter comes out. So they've had a chance to include some fighters in some games, but then not include them in the other game, and then following game, and then include characters they hadn't used in that previous game. Like, they're cycling characters more in Mortal Kombat because they have, releases that happen more often in Street Fighter, whereas they're just basically releasing a platform for, like, how many years? Like 8 years or something? And then they just add characters to that. So by the time there's the end, there's a massive roster. Whereas, like, Mortal Kombat, you've got people not crying, but asking for the 3D era characters because they haven't seen the likes of Ashura or Havoc or Onaga in the longest time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's some deep cuts that are missing. Like who wants Meat back, really? Like,
are we talking about Sean Stasiak from WBE or the Attitude Era? Or are we talking about actually Meat from Mortal Kombat?
No, Meat from Mortal Kombat. No one wants Sean Stasiak back. No one wants Sean Stasiak in the first place. He was like, hey, like, WCW's closing. Who do we get? Sean Stasiak? All right, well, we'll put him on, and we'll change him into this character. But, like, it's interesting. They tried to push Sean Stasiak, but, like, there's guys like Billy Kidman who just, like, never... Oh, man, it pisses me off. Like, I feel like Kidman got a Cruiserweight title run, yeah, and he got a little bit of a push, but, man, they tried to really push Sean Stasiak, and Sean O'Hare, too. Like, those guys suck, like, badly.
I think there was more of a reason to push Sean O'Hare, but...
Oh, and not even to get off more of a wrestling tangent, because I know you guys both love wrestling as much as I do. You guys have to watch this YouTube series. It's called WCW Blunder. Instead of Thunder, it's called Blunder. And it's like an 8-episode series, and this guy goes deep cut on WCW and, like, its worst storylines ever. And it's so good because they're, like, so, like, well, like, such well done videos that, like, the first one was like the MTV spring break, winter break, like, wrestling things that they did for MTV. And he talked about how, like, there's 4 minutes of wrestling on both of them, and they're like an hour long each. And then, like, who they got to actually go to these things, because, like, you're not getting, like, top tier people to go to, like, spring break or, like, winter bash. Like, it was like Bryan Adams went. Like, who the fuck wanted to watch Bryan Adams wrestle? No offense to Bryan Adams. I like Bryan Adams.
I like Kona Crush.
I'm a huge Kona Crush fan. Big time.
Hey, little bit of for me, a little backstory. My dad, I was lucky enough to go with my dad to Hawaii when I was younger. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things I told my dad is when we went there, we got to find Kona Crush. I want to go find Crush because Crush was built from Hawaii. So
yeah, shaka, bro.
Yeah, so you better watch Sacrilege, sir. Careful, Joe.
Listen, I'm a huge Bryan Adams fan, but like no one wanted to see Bryan Adams wrestle at that point of his career, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunate. I don't know. At that point, maybe it was fortunate. Anything else I was playing? Now that I'm gone this giant tangent about wrestling, because people love wrestling here. Yield, you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge for PS5. That's the last thing I played.
What did you still have some stuff to mop up in that? Where you just like
PS5 one has an all new trophy list. Because it came out in PS4.
Okay. What's new with the trophies? What's new for? What's different about the trophy
It's the
list?
same trophy list, except it's a little bit more difficult because you know how you only had to max out the. I believe you only had to max out this. Was it the 6 characters in the old one? Was it all 7? I couldn't remember.
It was all 7.
It was all 7? Okay, then it's the same exact trophy list. Okay, so it is the same trophy list. But it's worth doing again because I love Turtles. And it's another reason to play the game again. And then, did you see the patch they added in December, Alex? The arcade custom mode patch?
No, what was that all about?
So the arcade custom mode patch lets you add things to the game like make all the foot soldiers stronger, make all the enemies faster on the map, make it so you have unlimited special moves, make it so you have unlimited lives, make it so you only have it's old school mode, so you don't even have special moves, so it just plays like a regular like beat 'em up and takes the special moves out. So it's actually really cool, like what they did. Like they added like this whole like custom way of playing the game. The only problem with it is that they took away like the trophy support. You can't do trophies with that mode at all.
Which
So,
yeah,
like,
I mean, that was expected. I was going to ask you, but I assumed that when you have infinite lives,
like,
that they take
I mean,
away your.
it's kind of like what they did with Streets of Rage. Look when they added all that custom stuff, and then they made it like you can't unlock trophies and certain things because it made the game easier.
Well, I mean, yeah, like for the Mr. X's Nightmare, the Danger Room scenario, where you basically it was like way like survival levels, like a tower kind of. You could select which level you started on, but it negated the trophies because one of the trophies, as we were talking about earlier, you have to get to level 30, and you could like start on level 30 or go to level 29 or something, and obviously, that would make getting that trophy easier. But yeah, it negates the trophies. You can't get it that way.
That's like I understand why they do that because they're trying to be like purists and make people like earn the trophies the right way. But I feel like for some people, like just let the people earn their trophies.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand both sides because I'm like, developers, do you really care? Do you really? I mean, honestly, like going through some of the ultra rare trophies on PlayStation Profiles, looking for new games to play for the annual rarity event, I'm just like, there are some really small indie developers out there that just have insanely hard trophy lists, and that's gotta. I mean, you would sell more if you had an easier trophy list, I would think, because people would be like, oh, trophies are such a big thing within the PlayStation universe that yeah, you would probably sell more. But then these people have hard as hell, platinums to get. And it's just like, I get, that if that's the way you want to do things, that's fine. But shouldn't you want to, encourage more people to play your game and maybe ease up a little bit? I don't know. But I understand that developers take pride in making a hard game. And, if you really are going to earn our platinum trophy, it's going to mean something. But, I mean, really, if you're getting your money, is it really that much of a fight you should be putting up? I don't know.
I feel like, it's like, it's you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because, like, if you do it, then you tell people, okay, well, we're softening up our trophies and, oh, they're not that, they're not that hard to get. So, like, all the hardcore people like, well, I don't want to get that trophy anymore. It's a BS trophy.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. No one ever said that about Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And,
no, they didn't.
And the game was really good. Like, people still enjoyed it, and the trophy list is pretty easy. And so, I don't know if that's really a thing. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be like, Grandma's Vacuum Simulator, it's not a 9 out of 10 trophy, so I don't really care. People just want to get trophies, man. And
I mean,
it's coming.
You'll play it, right?
Well, if it's 99 cents, he can pop it, on the toilet or pop it in 15 seconds, he certainly will. But I think that, especially if you're a smaller developer, I think you should worry about making a good game first because, like, again, you got to recognize that, people just don't have a shit ton of time to sit there and go through your small indie game as hard as balls trying to earn trophies. I mean, a lot of people are just going to go the path of least resistance. And unfortunately, that's going to mean, like, honestly, use your trophies as a marketing tool. Because, I mean, gameplay, and a lot of times, yeah, people do buy games based on the trophies, which I'm sure there's a segment of the gamer audience out there that's like, that's really stupid. I get that. But then other people, they love getting trophies, so, of course, why are they, you know, only so much time on Earth? Why the hell are you just going to go out of your way to go play ridiculously hard games if you're just going to get trophies at? I get it. I get it. Either way. But,
yeah, but that's pretty much all I played this week, though.
All right. Yield, sir.
Yo!
It's your time to shine, sir.
Okay, so, the last couple of weeks I have played some Jackbox, Jackbox 2, Jackbox 3.
Nice.
I believe Jackbox 7?
Those are not kind with the trophies, although you can boost them. At least in Jackbox 3, that's one of the games I finished up this year to get 100%.
You can, but I was playing them just to play them. I played some Ticket to Ride. I played some Borderlands 3, some Deep Rock Galactic. I played some Rocket League to advance my weekly, or to get my weekly stuff to work on the season. I've played Zombie Army Trilogy with Nitro, finishing out the Sniper Elite difficulty. We now have some punch list trophies to get and go through the Horde mode trophies to work on the Platinum. I've played some World of Warship Legends, just advancing my Bureau projects. I've farted around with Power Wash Simulator. I've played Borderlands pre-sequel with the guys on Friday nights. And this week I finished up my portion of the Assassin's Creed 4 multiplayer boost. We still have to get a couple more guys done with theirs. But then I dove into the main part of the game because I want to make sure I get the sharing is caring trophy if they decide to unplug the servers, especially with rumors of a remaster coming out. And I am having a blast just doing nothing but sailing around the Caribbean and pirating ships.
You know, you talk about Assassin's Creed. It's Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed have been big topics on the show for months now, but we went into Half Price Books today, and when you go into a reseller, like a mom and pop store or whatever, like, you know, a chain like Half Price Books, when you go to the video game section to look at like the trade-ins, there are always so many Assassin's Creeds on the shelf. Like, I guess that's good because it means the game sold well, but everyone's always looking to turn those games in. It's like an entire shelf just of Assassin's Creed. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I think people get through the story and then they move on.
Yeah, but it just seems like people turn those games, like resell those games in droves, more so than other games. Because it's always one of, like, you can count on that series being the one that occupies the most space.
See, what do I see that. I see Call of Duty and your sport games.
Yeah. Sir, anything else you've been playing through? I know you did a big old rundown, but anything else you want to add to the list?
No, I'm pretty sure that's everything I've played.
Most excellent. Now I'll cap us off here before we get into our topics. Got 2 platinum trophies this past week. The first one was in the Serpent Rogue, which I talked about on last week's episode. Again, fun game. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, I can't wait to hear. I know Matt and Jeff both bought it because it was $5 on Steam during that time when we were recording. And I can't wait to hear their feedback. And any of the listeners, if any of you all played as well, let me know. Because a small game like that, people, you know, you'll get a lot of feedback on the big AAA games or, you know, just some of the stuff that's more out in the open. Whereas this is, you know, a lesser known game. I can't remember how many players it had. It was on the PSN profiles, it was under 200 people. So whenever there's a smaller game like this that you really take to, you kind of, you know, not necessarily validation of your own opinion, but you want to hear about what people think about it because there's so much talk and so much press about a lot of other games. And, you know, when a smaller gem like this that you find, you kind of unearth comes up, you know, you want to hear people talk about it. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of that game. And I'd really like some of the other people in the community to take it on and see what they think as well. After beating the Serpent Rogue, I played a game called Dodgeball Academia, which is on. It was a game on the Xbox Game Pass, and it's currently on PlayStation Plus Extra. And I know I've got one friend who plays it, and that's our friend here this week, Joe Priestley. It's a good thing he's on the show this week, so he can help me talk about it. But honestly, just one of those games I saw. It's like a dodgeball game, heavily inspired, looks like by just kind of anime or like I shouldn't say anime, but just kind of like Japanese culture, Japanese design. It's kind of like when you're going around the school grounds, because basically your character is a protagonist. It's a young kid, and he's going off to essentially dodgeball school. It's like an academy for people who get really good at dodgeball. And, the story unfolds on the school grounds, but as you're going through, there's missions every day. It's separated into 8 days. And every day there's a certain storyline that runs through that services a larger story arc. And you're running around the school, doing missions and stuff. And, as you're going around, it's kind of like a Pokemon style thing. Not that you're catching anything, but like there are dodgeball challengers all around the map. And when you pass them, they will challenge you to a fight. So, the dodgeball stuff is fun. There are basically elemental powers, like different balls that have different elemental properties. Each player has a super move they can do. Like your character Otto, the protagonist, has like a Hadouken-like attack when he fills up his meter. Just like you unlock different skills along the way. You have a team of people, 3 to 4 at a time, computer players, obviously, that you can switch in between when you're playing each match. So the game is fun. The only thing I would say is that because it's like Pokemon, like I don't think you've played much Pokemon, but Joe, maybe you have.
I played a lot of Pokemon.
There's a certain fatigue.
Amount of Pokemon.
There's a certain fatigue when it comes to Pokemon when you're you got to fight trainers in the world and to boost the levels of your Pokemon and strengthen them up, train them. But after a while, it gets kind of old and monotonous. And I think this game, it's not a long game, but I think it definitely kind of suffers from that a little bit because there are so many people to challenge along the way, and you don't necessarily have to do them. But if you want to go for all the trophies, you'll probably need to. But you just kind of get to where you're playing, because the dodgeball is like the main mechanic of the game, you're playing so many dodgeball matches that it can get kind of old, even with a game that's this short. And when I say short, I mean like 15 hours, I think it took me to beat. So, overall, the dodgeball is fun, but you've got to play through a lot of matches, and I do think that wears on you a little bit. Joe, you said you had played some. Like, what are your thoughts?
It's a cool game. Like I was drawn to it when it first came out. Like
it's because it's got a great style. Like the style draws you in.
Yes, and just like it's kind of like kind of like anime style. It feels like there's got to be an anime for this. Is there?
I'm not sure, but it is very heavily anime inspired.
But I enjoyed what I played. I played like a few of the story beats, and then I kind of like dropped off. But I plan to get back to it eventually.
Yeah, it's not. There's a platinum trophy. It's not a hard platinum. So you can, and like I said, it's on PlayStation Plus Extra. So if you have a subscription, you can try it out for nothing. You already have the subscription, so why not? Finish that off, and then started off a game called Kill It With Fire. And I'll add a subtitle to that, Tricky's Worst Nightmare. Because this game, it's about killing spiders. It's right now on sale on the store. The Exterminator Edition, which is like the bundled edition with the DLC and the main game's $3.99. It's normally, I think the main game is, or the main game with the DLC is normally $20. It's 80% off, so I got it for $4. I'm like, sure, why the hell not? Essentially what it is, it's basically a first-person shooter kind of, but you're just like going through your house and finding spiders and killing spiders. Obviously you all have been around the house, walking around the house before, and then you look down somewhere against the wall or in the carpet and you see a spider. It's like, oh, what do I do here? Do I put it outside? Do I kill it? So you obviously understand, like, this is something people go through in real life where they're just walking through their house and, oh shit, there's a spider.
You kill it with fire. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Tricky actually sent us pictures from his hotel. He's been on vacation, gone up to Canada to get better pictures of the wildfire, and in their hotel room, he apparently actually had to switch rooms because they found like a bunch of spiders in their first room by the window, only to find in the next room they moved to a bunch of spiders again in the window. I don't Tricky, I don't know.
Man,
You can't
that's
really
too
escape
funny.
it.
I'm sorry. Like, only Tricky, man.
Yeah, he had his daughter send a picture of the spider and then had her erase it from the chat because he didn't want to look at it. But Tricky thought he was going to be on a nice leisurely vacation.
Was it that big?
I mean, it was big. Tricky can't even look at a picture of a spider without freaking out. So Tricky thought he was going to go on this leisurely vacation to Canada, and well, what do you know? There's spiders up there too. Sorry about your luck, Tricky. But yeah, it's basically a first-person game where you have like you're going through different locales, whether it be your house, whether it be a convenience store, your place of work, and there's 8 levels, and well, I think there's a 9th level that unlocks after you finish the story in the credits. But you are basically there's different objectives, different tasks within each area, and then also like one of the things you have to do to get out of the area to get through the exit door and unlock doors within the area to progress, you got to kill a certain number of spiders, and the spiders. They range from the first, it's just like a black spider, and then they add like baby spiders, and then they add jumping spiders, which is probably going to be the worst for Tricky. And then later on, you get all the way to zombie spiders. So they incorporate new spiders as you go to each level, and you pick up different weapons. Like you start with a clipboard, but then you like later on pick up a frying pan. You even get a revolver and a shotgun and a can of hairspray and a lighter, so you can torch them. So basically throughout, you're getting all these, even these ridiculous weapons, like you're shooting a shotgun off in your house to kill spiders. It's proper ridiculous, but it is fun. So for trophy hunters, there's 21 trophies, I think, and it's just all bronzes. There's no platinum. So, but in all honesty, I was like, man, this game looks fun. It's $4, so I'm going to play it. So yeah, basically a first-person game where you kill spiders, you hunt down spiders in different locations. It's fun though. I like it. And I'm guaranteed to have Tricky never play it to try to bring down the rarity of the trophies, even though they're pretty much all uncommon. So not getting a ton of points, but again,
it looks cool though. Like I want to play it, and it's like $4. You said?
Yeah, for the I think it's $3 for just the main game. But if you want the DLC, the Year of the Spider, you'll pay $4 for the Exterminator edition.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick that up because it's $4. Because I'm just gonna add it to the giant ever-growing backlog that I
was gonna say, didn't you swear off buying games after you bought Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
How long is it gonna take you to beat Final Fantasy?
It depends. I am 37% through it already, but I'm already like 67% through Street Fighter, like the story mode, and like I'm 50% through almost 50% through the trophies. So I'll probably wrap up Street Fighter sooner than I'll wrap up Final Fantasy, and that'll give me like a huge amount of console space back.
Well, sir, you can use some of that console space when you pick up Pixel Junk Eden 2. We got a post on the PlayStation blog here from Dylan Cuthbert, the game director and CEO over at Q Games. The headline reads, Pixel Junk Eden 2 swings onto PlayStation 5. Hey everyone, Dylan Cuthbert here from Q Games, and I'm excited to reveal that Pixel Junk Eden 2 is coming to PlayStation 5 and 4. This year marked the 15th anniversary of the Pixel Junk series, which started way back in 2007 with our first release on PlayStation 3. We're going all out for the anniversary celebrations with our Party Brawler Pixel Junk Scrappers Deluxe coming to PlayStation on July 27th, and now Pixel Junk Eden 2 following suit later this year. Safe to say it's a very good time to be a Pixel Junk fan. If you're new to the Pixel Junk Eden series, I want to share a quick introduction to the mesmerizing world we've created. Devised by the game director and celebrated multimedia composer Bayon, the world of Eden is a true exploration of life, color, and sound. Huge gardens hold secrets entwined within otherworldly plant life as the world around you changes based on your actions. The gardens expand and grow and transform visually as you delve deeper into their depths, searching for pollen and hidden treasures. It's been over 10 years since Pixel Junk Eden first arrived on PlayStation, and we've been working hard to develop this brand new experience on PS5 as a sequel to the much-beloved original. Pixel Junk Eden 2 brings with it new grimps, gardens, features, and spices to enhance the gameplay and deliver the ultimate trip. Make sure to check out today's brand new trailer to catch a glimpse of what to expect. And then he goes into the customization options. Quote, jump, spin, and swing to explore each level, and whilst doing so, you'll see the landscape transform and oscillate as you play. New abilities are unlocked along the way by meeting an array of grimps with different personalities and abilities, so you never know who you're going to bump into. You can play as over 20 different grimps and select 4 each spices to create hundreds of starting combinations, each providing a unique experience. Grimp abilities range from unlimited jumping abilities to boosted pollen collecting, and when paired with the one-time use spices, make for customizable adventures that put you in control. This wide variety of stages, grimps, and blooms provide you a hypnotic backdrop to the alluring electronic soundtrack. And then the PlayStation 5 has enabled us to really go to town, making the world shine and setting 4K, and using the DualSense controller, we've been able to implement cool new immersive controls. We can't wait for you to try them out for yourself. In PixelJunk Eden 2, the DualSense light bar reacts to changes in the current level, creating your own personal light show for each unique environment. And exploring the world of Eden has never felt better thanks to the extensive use of the unique vibration features punctuating every swing and jump and immersive haptic feedback. We also utilize the gyro sensor to provide precise control, and collecting pollen rewards you with dynamic vibrations to mark your achievements. So, brand new PixelJunk game. We're actually getting 2 this year, which is great. And PixelJunk, those games, like, it's kind of like a brand, but at the same time, like, all the games are so very different and unique. Like, they have their own style that it's kind of hard to just say, oh, you know, the PixelJunk brand, because it really doesn't do it justice, because PixelJunk Monsters looks very different from PixelJunk Side-Scrollers, and PixelJunk Shooter looks very different from PixelJunk Eden. So they've done a very good job of creating games that, you know, even if you didn't like one, there's something you can find within the PixelJunk catalog to love, because they're all very different and unique. Joe, you were kind of you gave an ooh and an ah here when I started reading. So what are your thoughts on the news, and what's your history with the PixelJunk series?
I mean, I played a few of them back in the day. It's an interesting franchise, like you said. It's something for everyone. I'm excited for more. I mean, more is better than none, right? I always say that.
Well, it depends. It depends on which game franchise we're talking about here. But in this case, yes, more is better than none.
I mean, if it's more Division, then who gives a fuck? But I mean, you know, so it's not. So
you keep talking like that, and Tricky's never going to want a podcast with you. He'll keep running.
It's okay. You know, I'll just wait till he's not here, and I'll podcast with you two, because it's much more enjoyable anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Works for me.
I think we're all in agreement. Yield, do you have any thoughts on this PixelJunk series, or have you had any encounters with it? Or
I played Monsters, kind of couch co-opted it, so to speak, with a passive controller with a buddy at his house. I was more into Shooter. Got 100% on the PS3 version of PixelJunk Shooter 1 and 2. Loved that. That's really been about it. None of the other PixelJunk games have really grabbed my attention.
So for anyone who hasn't played PixelJunk Eden, PixelJunk Monsters was like tower defense. They had side scroller, which is, you know, kind of like your standard side scroller, very much, you know, PixelJunk style. Eden essentially is you have this character, and what you're trying to do is you're growing essentially the garden. The garden is at a certain state when you open the level, and what you're really trying to do is make everything flourish through swinging and platforming and collecting pollen so you can make the flowers bloom. And it really, like, it brings everything to life. So essentially what you're doing in every level is you're bringing the garden to life. And for me, the first PixelJunk game was a little frustrating because of the swinging mechanics. Like, precision in this game matters, so it is good to hear Dylan Cuthbert talk about precision and them working on the controls to make sure it feels right. And I'm not saying the PixelJunk Eden on the PlayStation 3 the controls were bad. It's just, for me, the swinging mechanic and the precision of it was really frustrating. So that's kind of one thing. I played through a good amount of it, but I don't think I finished it. I definitely didn't get all the trophies. But yeah, I mean, as far as the game goes, like, PixelJunk Monsters, like, just to completely turn me off. I'm not a huge fan of tower defense, but PixelJunk Eden, you know, even if it wasn't a game that I loved as much as, say, the PixelJunk Shooter games, because I did finish those and I love the shit out of them, I will definitely look at the sequel and maybe pick it up. Probably pick it up, and, you know, just at least give it a chance, because even if, you know, the first game was kind of a little bit more difficult for me, I don't necessarily want to rule it out that PixelJunk Eden 2 will end up on my 5. So we'll see. But the fact that we hadn't really had much from Q Games and PixelJunk, at least on PlayStation, in a while, it's good to see them come out with 2 games to celebrate such a big anniversary for the studio. So I'm definitely glad to see it, and I definitely can't wait to hear more about both games. I'm probably leading more towards PixelJunk Scrappers, you know, the party brawler being my type of game. But again, you know, I think that there's also a place for Eden on my PlayStation 5 as well. So, you know, you talked about doing a little couch co-op there with PixelJunk Monsters, correct, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Very different style of the game, but maybe you'll end up doing some couch co-op, and you're rubbing your hands together, so you must know what we're talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
Little co-op, and hopefully there's couch co-op, and Helldivers 2, which I know is a game you're looking forward to.
So ready for this.
So this also comes from our friends at the PlayStation blog, and Catherine Baskin, the social media and community manager at Arrowhead Game Studios. The headline reads, First details on Helldivers 2 co-op and combat gameplay. Greetings, future Helldivers. It's Catherine, Arrowhead's social media and community manager, back again to bring you new Helldivers 2 gameplay details, a more in-depth look at our cooperative play and combat. After your Helldiver defrost on your ship, you and your squad mates must prepare for a mission by customizing your armor, your weapons, and your stratagems together. Creating your loadouts feels like part of the mission prep, changing your weapons to suit not only your appetite for destruction, but the mission and the enemy types you might encounter. Your greatest aids as a Helldiver are stratagems, powerful tools that can be summoned with short button combinations. Everything from airstrikes to hellpods, containing bigger, badder weapons to defensive gear and extra supplies at your fingertips. When selecting stratagems, it's essential to coordinate with your team to select the best possible loadouts for enemies and mission type. If you're going up against armored enemies like the Terminid Charger, you or a squad mate can equip more armor-piercing weapons like the AT-48 recoilless rifle or the AC-8 autocannon, which features a teammate-assisted reload to keep battles even more chaotic. But don't sleep on those defensive stratagems either. While one Helldiver is handling the heavy fire, another Helldiver can call down a shield generator to protect the teammates as the enemies push back. In a 4-person team, you'll be able to select a mix of stratagems and weapons that will lead to a unique victory every time. Once your Hellpod lands on a planet, you can start calling in support stratagems, which include more powerful weapons, shield generators, and supply backpacks. Each member of your squad can play accordingly to their own style. Some of you will charge into the fight, while others will call down a sniper rifle stratagem and maintain a safe distance while picking off enemies. You can even sneak past encounters if your team moves carefully. You're all free to decide how you want to manage democracy, up close and personal, or with tactical oversight. Of course, once the action really picks up, get used to dying. Not only are the enemy hordes relentless, but you might run into some stray bullets from your fellow Helldivers. Either way, it's your team's first priority to use a reinforced stratagem to call a brand new Helldiver down to the planet to pick up right where you left off. You can even grab the guns your previous corps left behind. It's not only cooperative combat, but you'll have cooperative objectives to tackle with your team as well. You'll be able to share locations with each other and move together across the map. You'll also encounter optional objectives to complete, requiring a small detour with your teammates and, of course, requiring more ammunition, but you'll be rewarded for your efforts. That's it for now, soldier. Get ready to give them hell. Helldivers 2 launches on PlayStation 5 and PC this year. So, Yield, you've played Helldivers more recently than I have. Was there as much of a focus? Because one of the things obviously they talked about in this is that each player has kind of a role to play. And I really feel like in the first Helldivers, that wasn't a thing. Like, you didn't have, there wasn't so much of a focus on, okay, this person's going to charge in and do a lot of damage while this person stands in the background while this person's more defensive. It was just kind of like everybody goes in and does as much damage as they can to finish the mission, right? The first Helldivers did not have this much of a emphasis on roles.
I would agree. I mean, I know when we play it with the guys, everybody we all carry stratagems that are useful for the greater good. Like one guy might carry the nuke. Well, we don't need 2 nukes. So somebody else carries something useful, whether it be an offensive or a defensive. So we all okay, well, you're carrying this, so I'll carry this. And some guys will carry something where when they call down an offensive stratagem, it might drop 2 or 3 weapons. Well, no one else needs to carry this. I'm carrying something for everybody else. So now you can carry a shield generator or something. So we do it that way. When you're playing online, you kind of just gear up for me, I geared up for single player basically and hope it would mesh with what everybody else had. They do seem to be going that, especially now since we're going from a top down to a third person. So you could have sniper positions, because I seriously doubt now that we're third person, you're not confined to, the box of the box of where everybody's at. And everybody has to stay in this box. Otherwise, we can't move on. Third person, I'm getting the sense that everybody can kind of go off and do their own thing, which may not entirely be wise depending on what level planet you're playing on.
Yeah, that seems like splitting up the team, definitely, especially when they're talking about, helping your team by putting down a generator to provide protection. Definitely seems like everyone going off in their own way seems like a poor plan.
Yes, but I did see how in this combat trailer where like there was a sniper on a ridge and taking sniper shots, down on the ridge. Now that would be useful if you had somebody who was a good sniper. I'm interested, very interested, especially like I said, we're switching to third person. Some of the lighting that I've seen in some of the trailers look really cool. Like when you're fighting in a storm, it's dark. And then when the lightning flashes, all of a sudden you can see, oh crap, there's an enemy that I didn't know was in front of me. And then it looks like you get splatter on your armor from like when you're fighting the bugs. You get bug guts juices all over you, which is kind of cool and neat little additive to it. So I want to see more. I'll be picking it up day one anyway, but I want to see more. It looks really cool.
I will say that because they did talk about talking with your team about the loadout before you go onto a level and figuring out the best loadouts for the level. It seems like this is a game you definitely want to play with friends and have headsets, because if you're there's going to be that much strategy into it, you can't just go half cock with a bunch of randos. I mean, you can, but it may not be a good time.
You can, but it may not be as fun.
Joe, did you play Helldivers at all?
I did not, and I always wanted to play it. It just always seems so daunting.
Well, the 100,000 kills is daunting if you're going for the platinum.
I mean, you've met me, right?
But I looked at it this way. I had my 100,000 kills long before I actually won a galactic war. So, but
that's crazy.
It is, because I just couldn't. I kept hitting the wrong time of people not finishing the war. I would say, like, if you're really going for it, set yourself a goal of, like, I'm going to get, 300 kills a week or 1,000 kills a week. And before you know it, you'll have it. Especially if you do...
Do people still play it? Like, it's still active game?
Oh, yeah.
Well, not for long, especially with the sequel coming out, but...
Yeah, there are people still playing it. I mean, heck, we still play it when we get together. Depending on whose house we go to, once a month, once every other month, because the other guys all have the Galactic War win, but they don't have their 100,000 kills. So when we get together, we play to help them. I'm helping them get to their level 25 and their 100,000 kills. So when the 3 or 4 of us are playing, I'm the dude that carries everything. I'm the guy that's like doing all the button combos to open everything. Cause I'm like, you guys need the kills. I don't. So you guys run defense and I'll be the guy running around punching all the buttons, activating everything. Cause I've got the platinum. So.
And for anyone who's never played it, it's basically Starship Troopers without being called Starship Troopers.
That's what I heard. I heard it's like, if Starship Troopers was a game, this would be Starship Troopers the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so then maybe that's possibly the best way to sell it to somebody is like, hey, you remember Starship Troopers? This is like...
Why was it never marketed that way?
Probably because they didn't want to get sued.
I mean, Earth Defense Force is nothing more than Starship Troopers if you really think about it too, so it's like...
But anyway, really looking forward to this game. I'm hoping that it is still couch co-op, like the first one, which I would think it would be, but you never know. That might be kind of hard being third person, being couch co-op, because they'd have to go split screen. But
well, I definitely think I'm going to pick up Helldivers 2. I do. I think I want to get in when the getting in is getting good. I wonder if we're going to get it like day and date. Because you know how like they drop some of these day and date? Like kind of like they did with Stray. I wonder if this will be one of the ones where they like, hey, we're just going to give it to you guys. Like day and date.
Yeah, it's hard saying. Because they keep saying it's coming out this year. So it could be.
Yeah, it's actually insane that it's coming out this year, and we didn't know that it was even coming Well, I mean, there is always rumors, but rumors are just that, right? Rumors until
Well, yeah.
they're not rumors.
But this was kind of one, like, to me, like one of the best kept secrets this year. You know, no one.
Oh, I
knew-
agree.
No one knew nothing about it. Granted, they were doing a little Facebook stuff every once in a while. They'd pop something on. Everybody's like, "Ooh, are you going to announce a new game?" And then they would just post something and then go away. And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh, hey, we're doing Helldivers 2, and you're going to get it this year." And it's like, "What?" So.
Well, that switch to 3D from, I mean, the other game was 3D, but the switch to third person definitely probably took some time to bake into the formula for them to figure out if they actually wanted to do third person. So
I'll tell you what, though, there'll be a lot more probably jump scares, so to speak, in third person, top down, you could see the bad guys coming. Third person, you may not see them. Especially if they come jumping over a rock. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this.
I mean, yeah, with third person views, they can pretty much come from everywhere. You got stuff kind of behind you from the sides, like velociraptors in the grass, and then of course you got to watch the front. So truly, just crushing forces from all sides. But I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to have in this game. It's kind of the thing you want is not necessarily overwhelming, but obviously challenging when it comes to the alien populations.
Absolutely. Are you getting it, Alex?
I'll see how it shakes out. I don't know that I necessarily want to play another game for 100,000 kills, but if it's something we can get a community game nights going for, then I'm more inclined to do that than just play with randos online or play by myself.
I got you.
Joe, we've got some good news coming out of Sega. Sir, I know you love your Sonic, as we all do now. You sharing a little bit earlier. I got to ask you, Joe, real quick, your thoughts on NFTs and blockchains, good or bad?
No. They're a no for me.
Hard pass for Joe. Well, then you'll be happy to...
I think it was Gary Whitta that coined the term, so I can't steal it from him. But he said NFT stands for no fucking thank you.
Well, we like to give proper credit, and I think, most of us, with how many game companies have kind of tried to jump on the bandwagon, what Square Enix and Konami have also talked about doing this kind of shit, and it never receives, it's never received with cheers or like a giant loud pop in a wrestling arena. It's always like, are you all serious? Y'all are jumping on this scam bullshit too. Well, Sega, the house of the Blue Hedgehog, will be moving away from that. This article comes from Destructoid.com, was written by Zoe Hanley. The headline reads, Sega hits the brakes on its blockchain plans. Bloomberg has reported that Sega is pulling back its plans to compete in the Web3 Thunderdome. The company was previously shoveling coal onto the crypto furnace, licensing blockchain games and creating NFTs based on its properties. Sega hasn't canceled all of its crypto plans, but we're watching in real time as the corporation realizes its mistake. Bloomberg reports that Sega will withhold its biggest franchises from the third-party blockchain gaming projects to avoid devaluing its content. We're looking into whether this technology is really going to take off in this industry. After all, Co-Chief Operating Officer Shuji Utsumi told Bloomberg News, Sega will apparently be pulling back from the play-to-earn games and is reassessing its Web3 approach in the company's big-budget online multiplayer focus, so-called super games that are planned to start releasing in 2026. This is, of course, all in response to the ongoing decline in the crypto market that some have dubbed the crypto winter. The unfortunate part of this is it's largely a case of big executives and billionaires buying into an obvious scam, and many of them won't see any consequences for the poor decision-making. Instead, it's the people below them that will get the brunt of it. Meta laid off 10,000 employees when it became apparent that the metaverse was a Web3 black hole that it was dropping money into. What a world. So, yeah. Obviously, not painting a rosy picture of blockchains and cryptocurrency in general, which I never got involved with. To be fair, honestly, because I never really fully understood it or couldn't explain it. So if I can't fully understand it, I'm definitely not putting my money into it. So, yeah, it's pretty much that simple. Joe, your thoughts on, obviously, you probably agree with Sega's decision and you're happy to hear it.
I mean, I don't like blockchain stuff. I just think it's very hey, let's try to take your money. I mean, it's bad enough they're already trying to take your money with all these gimmicky loot boxes and loot crates and all this other things in gaming. Do they have to do it with other stuff too? It's come on, man. Give the gamers a break. Like, you're already taking our money for $70 a game now. You really need to take more of our money in blockchain shit? Like, it's like, didn't they try blockchaining in one of the competitive shooters, and they were, like, giving guns away, apparently, or some stuff?
I don't pay attention to competitive shooters enough to know yay or nay on that, but trying to sell people what images and saying they own a certain image, but I don't. It just make me games, sell me extra content to those games, and that's all you got to do. I don't want to buy a digital image and say that I have ownership of that digital image, which does me absolutely fuck all of nothing. I don't care. I don't want any part of that. And it's obvious that people who play video games, most of them, since this is met with so much revulsion, is people don't want to be sold that shit either. It's not just like we're the only ones.
It's just interesting, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I spend enough. Like, we spend enough money on games. Like, am I wrong, Yield?
No, I spend plenty between physical and the PSN sales. I spend plenty.
I feel like, how much more money can you take from me?
Oh, they'll try.
Every last dime.
They'll try, Joe. I mean, I get it. You're trying to find extra ways to make money, but sell people statues as part of collector's editions. Give them a steelbook case with a physical disc for our friend Yield and Rick and Curtis and all the other people who want their physical. Like, there are ways that you can give people value for their money. You don't have to, go this scam route of just basically taking people's money for some bullshit, essentially.
No, yeah, you're right.
And I think maybe the biggest problem is that, again, it's one of those things that most of us, we hear the words and we kind of have associated bad feelings to them just because, well, one, it does come across as a scam, but also because, like, people just really don't understand. Like, you're asking people to put money into blockchains and people don't understand how they work. I mean, sure, there are explanations out there on the web, but also it's very much like cryptocurrency and all that and everything that's tied into it was kind of like the new get-rich-quick scheme, and it hasn't turned out well, and just kind of like, I'm just so glad I never got involved with any of that, because, again, if I don't understand it, I'm definitely not putting my money into it. So, y'all, any final thoughts? Joe, anything else good you're seeing coming out of Sega before we move on, since you are a Sega fan? Anything you're excited coming from them?
I mean, Atlas and Sega are pretty much one of the same. So I'm excited for Disgaea 7, which comes out in, I believe, October or September, if I'm not mistaken. That looks really cool. I'm really excited for Persona Tactica, which is a Persona tactical RPG, like Fire Emblem, but with Persona characters, which I'm really jazzed for because I think they're going to do an excellent job because they already make great games over there. And Sonic Superstars looks absolutely phenomenal. And obviously they're making more Yakuza games or Like a Dragon games, so those are always great, and I'll always pick those up. So Sega has a really good foothold right now, and I think that they're similar. They're not as good as Capcom. I think right now, if I had to name my favorite developer currently, it's Capcom. They just keep knocking it out of the park over and over again. It's like Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter. Like that new game that they're making now for PS5 looks really cool.
Exoprimal?
Yeah, Exoprimal. You're fighting dinosaurs and shit. Yeah, that looks awesome.
I almost asked you about Exoprimal. I was like, wait a minute, that's not a Sega game. It's a Capcom game.
No, it's a Capcom game, but it looks awesome. Bayonetta, awesome as well. I mean, and Platinum, and and Sega over there, like that's an awesome game too.
But does Sega even have any in their paws on Bayonetta anymore? The first game they did, but I think JT and I had this discussion when he was on last.
No, I think it's now Nintendo. So yeah, I'll say that Bayonetta 3 is amazing though. If you haven't played it and you own a Switch, you owe it to yourself to play it. And if you haven't played the second one,
I played the first two games. They're both. The second one was even better than the first, and the first one was really good. But
yes, and the third one's really good too. The third one's not as good as the second one, but the combat's really cool, so it's worth checking out. I would say, like, if you're gonna get one of those like Nintendo like passes, like if you're gonna buy if you're gonna go digital and buy it, it's probably your best bet. You just buy like one of the $100 passes and just get 2 games and just figure out which 2 you want. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for a lot of things Sega's doing right now. But blockchain's not one of them.
Oh, don't worry no more, sir. I mean, maybe they still are gonna dip their toes in the water a little bit, but it seems like not as much of their plans are invested in blockchain. And I think we all wish that Ubisoft would invest more time into Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Absolutely.
So
Didn't the developers just die?
So yeah, this is some really sad news coming out of Ubisoft. This article comes from Destructoid.com. Is written by Eric Van Allen. The Beyond Good and Evil 2 creative director Emile Morel dies at 40, which is obviously incredibly young to die. Way too young. Quote, Emile Morel, a developer with a long legacy including many years at Ubisoft, has died at age 40. News first began spreading around on LinkedIn, with colleagues posting tributes to Morel on the site. Ubisoft Montpellier, his studio, has posted an official confirmation statement. It is with a heavy heart that we share the sudden passing of our friend and colleague Emile Morel. We send our deepest condolences to his family, friends, and teammates all over the world. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the significant impact he made over the years on different games that make up the rich history of our studio. For us, Emile was a close friend and a boundless source of positive energy. We all valued his passion and the way he told stories. We will never forget Emile, and the immense contribution to the BGE2 universe will forever endure. True freedom lies beyond. A little more to the story. Morel had worked at Ubisoft for some time, with 14 years of experience at the company, working on several notable titles. Morel served as a senior designer on Rayman Legends, as well as working on Test Drive Unlimited 2, 2008's Alone in the Dark, and Rayman Fiesta Run. After the departure of several leads from Beyond Good and Evil 2, Morel took over as creative director on the project. The sequel was revealed at E3 2017, 6 years ago, I'll point out, and has been in development for some time since. We extend our thoughts and condolences to Morel's loved ones and colleagues. So first and foremost, a human being just died, so obviously that's tragically sad. His family, friends, his colleagues, awful for them. And certainly this doesn't obviously help Beyond Good and Evil 2, as is that game. Obviously, they mentioned in the article, Eric Van Allen had referenced other studio heads leaving from Ubisoft Montpellier and Morel having to take over. This seems, even though this is far more than just you can blame Ubisoft for mismanagement and having to push back games further and further. Obviously, this is the case of a sudden passing of a team member and really someone at the head of the show. And so you really can't blame them for that. It's just a terrible, terrible tragedy. But again, also seemingly awful news for anyone winning Beyond Good and Evil 2, because your creative director has passed away and, you've had studio heads leave. At some point, beyond, mourning the loss of a human being, you also have to wonder what this means for the game itself. And I feel shitty, like with the whole Lance Reddick thing with the Horizon and the future of Silence and Horizon. I feel shitty for asking this question, but also I kind of feel like it's important to talk about that too, because I don't know, should I feel shitty about asking this question about how this impacts Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Well, no, that's the first thing I thought of was, well, it's a bummer that the gentleman passed away, especially at the young age that he was. But, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is already starting to stumble into developmental hell. And, it sounds like it fell into good hands. And then now that creative director is gone. So depending on how far along the game is, this could just delay it even further.
I mean, you're right, because when they name a new creative director, if that creative director has another vision, the different from Morel's, what does that do for the game? Or is Ubisoft basically going to say, look, we spent so much money on this project, whoever's going to step in is basically going to finish Morel's vision, because we can't start from,
they can't afford.
Tabula Rasa, we can't start from afresh again.
No, they can't afford to scrap this again. How many times has this project been scrapped, apparently?
Well, I mean,
who knows?
Look, we can talk about it being revealed officially at E3 2017, but it was shown off.
Duke Nukem Forever territory.
It was shown off and hinted long before then.
Exactly. It's like I said, it's getting in Duke Nukem Forever territory. Honestly, I have the utmost respect for developers, especially look at Dead Island 2. Did anybody ever think that was coming out?
I think people forgot about it, to be honest with you.
I didn't forget. I wanted it so bad, and I bought it. I think I bought it last week from GameFly. It was like $35. and I picked up the PS4 copy, so it's on its way. I also picked up Forspoken for $20. Those are good pickups.
Well, hopefully you have a bit more fun with that game than other people did.
I mean, GameFly is not a bad deal because you get the old rental discs that they rent out to people, but they guarantee that they work, one, and two, you get everything with it, like the sleeve, the manuals, everything that comes inside of it. So, well, which is nothing. Nothing comes inside of anything anymore, but it's just plastic. But at least you get the case, which is I can't say that for GameStop when you buy a game from GameStop.
Don't remind Yield. He doesn't want to hear it.
I know.
I don't want to hear what.
About how you don't get like much in the jewel case anymore when it comes to games.
No, you don't.
Joe's like, well, at least you get the jewel case. I'm like, don't say that in front of Yield because he's
no, you don't.
That is,
and then also, you don't know what you get when you buy used from GameStop because I got a, not that it was a big deal because I bought it for next to nothing, but I got what was it? My Assassin's Creed Unity game. I got it in just a generic case. The disc.
Yeah, you always run the risk of that. Always.
I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's always a gamble. It's always a gamble buying online from them, and they always have such good deals. Like they do that one online deal every once in a while where it's like 4 games for $40, and it's like any game $20 or under, and I'm like, oh man. If there's ever time to stock up on games, it's now.
No, Joe, there's no time for you to stock up on games. Now is not the time. Never is the time.
Listen,
Never.
that's why I have a sponsor. Kali's my sponsor. Whenever I want to buy something, I just call her. I'm like, hey, should I buy this? And she talks me off the ledge like 90% of the time.
Is she getting paid for this?
No, it's a thing we started on GameStop. It's Gamers Anonymous basically, and we call each other when we want to make stupid purchases and try to talk each other out of it.
You know what you ought to do is if you want a game, you should just buy it and give it to Kali. That'll keep it out of your backlog.
No, it'll put it in hers though. Sure,
then she can gift it back to you.
There you go, and then she could say she gave me something. No,
yeah.
she's awesome. Shout out to Kali. She's really awesome. I know she's on her trip in Europe right now, so she's killing it. So over there, so her and Jim are having an awesome vacation right now. So, but yeah, to go back to the whole, Ubisoft and the unfortunate passing of this man, like it makes me think about my life and that I'm gonna be 40 next year. So it's like, damn. Like this guy's dead at 40. Like I could be dead next year. Like you don't know. You never know what's gonna happen. That's just the way life goes, unfortunately. And not to be morbid or anything, but that's crazy to think about. But back to the game in itself. Like, are any of you even excited for this game anymore?
Honestly, I think the first game is highly overrated. To be honest,
I agree.
I agree. Not a bad game, but the way that people talk about it with the kind of the rose tinted sunglasses they have, it was a good game. And it developed a cult following, and I think that people look back on that game and see it as better than it actually is. Because when I played it, and I didn't play it too long after release, I played it on the PlayStation 3, it was a PS2 game, but I was just like, this is good, but it didn't blow me away. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's on the same level as a Ratchet & Clank or a Sly Cooper, because it's not. But a good game. I think that time has been more kind to its memory than it should have been. Yield, sir, I cut you off there.
I am excited for it just solely based on what I saw at E3. So, I was super excited then. I need to see more of it, to send me over over the top of the mountain. So, I'm waiting to see more to see if the initial excitement is still warranted.
And, when a game's in development for this long, you always got to wonder what's going to come out, because just because a game is in development for a long time doesn't mean it's going to be good. But we can hope for the best, especially after the loss of the creative director, Emile Morel. For the sake of the people who've been working hard on this game for so long, we certainly hope it turns out very well and does very well, as well as for, you hope for the people who have been excited for it and been flying the flags for Beyond Good and Evil 2 for so long. Another game that it took a while to get out and had a lot of money pumped into it. Joe, you're a wrestling fan, so I'm sure you've heard of it. AEW's Fight Forever. there was an announcement. They found a code in the code, their Stadium Stampede mode based on the match of the same name. Although the mode in the game works a little bit differently than AEW Stadium Stampede matches historically have. Quote, and this is a video shared. There's a trailer shared on IGN.com. The headline reads: AEW Fight Forever official Stadium Stampede Battle Royale teaser. AEW Fight Forever is a new wrestling game based on the All Elite Wrestling brand developed by Yuke's. Check out the teaser trailer for Stadium Stampede Battle Royale mode when 30 wrestlers battle it out to become the single victor, so it's essentially last man standing. Stadium Stampede Battle Royale is launching as a free download at a later date for AEW Fight Forever, available now for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox XS, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So in the trailer, you're literally just fighting around a stadium. You can go in like the concession area of a stadium, you can jump off the different like tiers of the stadium down below and destroy seats. Hangman Adam Page was riding a horse in the middle of a football field in this thing. So it's just basically last man standing, just complete chaos. And with Battle Royale kind of figured into it, because obviously Battle Royale is extremely popular these days. Looks like it could be fun, but also it's just completely out of control. So, you know, I think that maybe this extra mode is kind of what this game needs, because what I've heard is it's kind of, the reviews were not kind. It was very much like, to you know, along the wrestling terms, very like mid-card as far as quality.
Yeah, they were mid, as MJF would say.
Yeah.
This game's mid. I played it.
Okay, so, I mean...
I did not buy it. I played it.
The reviews were not kind, Joe. That basically people said that, you know, there's a story mode, a career mode, but it's not super deep. And really, like, if you just wanted to feel like you felt while you were playing the old N64 games and, like, just doing exhibition matches, it's great. But if you want something deeper, not so much. So what are your overall thoughts on a Battle Royale mode for Stadium Stampede? And then also just the game overall?
First, I guess I'll talk about Stadium Stampede first. I think it's cool to put different modes in games. I like that they're trying a Battle Royale mode. I think that's pretty cool. Like, it's not something I think, like WWE's tried the whole, like, they've gone the whole route of, like, kind of what EA and 2K has already made popular, which is, like, the My Faction mode, basically, where you unlock different cards of different guys, then you play as those guys, and you can only lock... The only thing that sucks about My Faction, just a quick tangent on that, is that, like, you unlock, like, different outfits for the guys, but you only get them in My Faction mode. They don't unlock in every other mode, which is annoying. It's like... Because they give you, like, all the attire that you're, like, missing, or, like, the new attire for the characters that you'd really want them for, and they lock them to this mode. And, like, my friends are like, well, we don't play this mode, so why would we even want them in that mode to begin with? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I like that they're trying something new. I like that they're trying to be different than WWE, because they have to be. Because, obviously, the game is not as good as WWE. It's nowhere near. I would say fun factor, if I want to talk about the game now, the game's really good. It plays well. The hit detection can be a little off sometimes, and the AI is fucking terrible. Like, terrible. The AI is so bad, Alex. Like they just stand there sometimes. It's bad, and I hope it gets patched or fixed. But I don't even know if you could patch that.
But the game does have Molotov cocktails.
It does, and it has barbed wire, exploding matches, and all kinds of other crap.
Did you hear that you can unlock the bad ending to the death match?
Yeah.
Which essentially, the bad ending, for anyone who saw it, the televised finish to the exploding barbed wire death match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Where it's just like sparklers.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, sorry, I cut you off there, Joe. Your thoughts on the game?
No, you're good. I'm not buying this until it's like dirt cheap. Like, I'll get it when it's like $30 maybe, but I'm not paying $60 for this game. And I had the cash, like, had it in my wallet, day release. I was going to go get it, and then I saw the reviews start popping up, and then my friend's like, well, I got to come over and play it. So I went over his house and I played it, and I was like,
thank God.
In the words of MJF, this is mid, man. Like, real mid. Like, the fact that they took an extra year to make this game and it's still this mid, I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I mean, the roster's not completely updated. They don't have full entrances, which we had full entrances on No Mercy, and I think on WrestleMania 2000. So,
yes.
You can't why can't you do full entrances?
Why can't they make a game that functions right? I don't know. Like, I'm not the developer, unfortunately, but I can say that the game is fun to play. It is fun to play. Like, when you're playing other people, it's a blast. It's a good time. Like, you're having a good time. You're able to play an arcadey style wrestling game, and it plays really, really well.
And
I will say that I still prefer WWE 2K23. That game is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of the best wrestling games ever made, period. End of story. The amount of stuff that you can do in that game and what you can pull off and create in that game, it's nothing short of, as Levi would put it, it's a masterpiece.
I think that this mode, the Stadium Stampede with 30 people, I mean, there's a lot going on, but I think it makes more sense for an arcade-style wrestling game like AEW Fight Forever than it would for a simulation-style WWE. Because, we played Royal Rumbles before, but there's never been, like, a 30-person mode in a wrestling game. There's just never that many people, so yield...
It's going to be interesting to see if it can handle it.
I mean, yeah, if, like, the system chugs or it, like, crashes or whatever. I assume they've tested it, but we'll see. When the free download.
Did they, though? Because I don't really feel like they tested the actual game they made, so...
Yield, sir, what do you think about a Battle Royale mode for wrestling? Just 30-person craziness.
In theory, it sounds really cool. You'd have to see how it works in execution, because just because it sounds cool doesn't mean it'll turn out cool.
And also, I gotta say, though, I mean, yeah, it sounds fun, but if you're in a wrestling match with 30 people... How long does it take to end that much? Are you sitting there for 2 hours playing this game trying to pin or submit all 30 people? Or, like, knock them out?
Or knock them out?
I knock them out. I think the power bars, like, deteriorate pretty quickly. But I don't know, because you could play Fortnite for a long time, too, though.
The question is, do you want to?
I don't know. It depends on how fun it is.
That's not just Fortnite, but do you want to sit there and play any match of any game, one round for an hour, 2 hours? Like...
I mean, I'll tell you this, playing the Faction Wars matches in WWE 2K23, and you have to win 100 of them, and on average, the matches take like anywhere from like 8 to 15 minutes to complete, each one. Because it's a 4-on-4 match, and it's done basically where anybody can kick out of anything, and anybody can break up a pin. It's kind of like War Games, but not War Games. It's just a regular 4-on-4 match. But it's called Faction Wars, and it's absolutely annoying, Alex, because there's no way to like slow the game down, and there's no way to speed it up to make it faster to complete. So you have to win 100 of those, 100, and I've got like 6 of them done. And I was like, I'll do one a day, and it won't take that long to do it. Just have it done by now. But I just quickly gave up because I stopped wanting to play that mode because the match just took forever. Because no matter what you would do, the computer would jump on top of your guy and kick you out and make you break up the pin. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I had you beat, and then this other guy comes out of nowhere and breaks the pin. So I was like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. So I think it could be fun, but can the server handle it? That's the main thing. Can the server handle this game? Like, if the server can't handle it, then it can't be much fun, can it? Because if it doesn't work, it can't be fun.
Amen.
Yeah, very good points. All right. I think we'll wrap up the topics on that. We do have, before we get to our community questions, though, I did promise earlier, and I'm a man of my word, I did promise a Sophie's Trophy, so right now we're going to drop it across the pond, or toss it across the pond, I should say. If I drop it, it's not going to go very far. Toss it to our friend Sid. Take it away, sir.
Hello, my friends, it's Sid. I'm back again with another Sophie's Trophies. I am so sorry it's been a while, but I have been dealing with some things. But I thought I'd give it another shot and see how this recording goes. So, this one, guys, it's an easy-ish platinum. It's not a rap plat. It is an actual game plat. So, all of you can just hold your applause. I have actually platinumed a game. Well, kind of. I'll get into it. So, this is Glass Masquerade. Okay, there are 2 of these on the PSN. They usually cost about £15 each. But I got both of them for like £1.74 for this set of 2 games. I have done the first one. And I have to say, I really like it. It's a very simple premise. You have to put together a picture. It's like a jigsaw, but it is stained glass pictures. There is one for each country in this game. So you move around a map, and there is countries. So I'll go through all the countries. I won't go through the trophy names or what it says, because they're all the same. But all you have to do, literally, guys, is go through and put the picture together. It is quite simple. It's good fun to do. It's got a nice little soundtrack as well. So I'm going to get into it, guys. First we have Art Deco. This is unlock all trophies. And then we have New Visitor, which is welcome to the International Times Exhibition. And basically all this is basically you start your first thing, which is France. Your first picture is the France gallery. They call them galleries, there is only one picture in each. And then we have the countries, guys. We have France, Italy, Britain, Portugal, Germany, Greece, Egypt, Sweden, Iran, Russia, Iceland, India, United States, China, Japan, Tanzania, Mongolia, Canada, Mexico, Madagascar, Greenland, Indonesia, Argentina, Australia, Brazil. Those are the 25 countries. Each one of these has a picture. It ranges in difficulty from 2 out of 5 stars to 5 out of 5 stars. All that means is how many pictures you have to put, or how many pieces you have to put in there. And then the other trophy is Appreciated Visitor. And that says, thanks for visiting the International Times Exhibition. And that is just when you finished all of them, that's your trophy for completing them all. I like this game, guys. I like Part 2 as well. Part 2 is a little different. There are different pictures, obviously, but from what I can tell, you have to do all those on hard. There is no difficulty choice on this one. But if you like jigsaws and jigsaw games, this one is a really good one to recommend, especially when it's on sale at the price it is. I would have been a bit miffed at £15, I have to say, but that's just me. Some people may think, well, more than worth it, but I don't know. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That's Glass Masquerade. Basically, 28 trophies for doing some jigsaw puzzles. It is really good. The pictures are quite cool, I have to say. But that's it from me. And I know I keep saying but I'm a bit out of practice here, guys. So I will talk to you soon, hopefully. Hopefully I can get my shit together, get my life together, and keep coming up with this for you guys. I do actually miss doing it, and the only thing I can say is I'm sorry for anyone that has missed Sophie's Trophies, all 1.5 of you. And I will talk to you again soon. So keep getting those trophies, guys. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Sid, for another riveting episode of Sophie's Trophies. Good to have you back. Always good to hear from Sid. Sometimes Sid kind of takes a little hiatus, and it's always good just to have him back. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And yeah, everybody ready for our community questions?
Yes.
So what do we have for community questions?
See. So our first question comes from Curtis. He asked, what's your most anticipated fall/holiday release? Joe, sir, do you got one? Or two, maybe?
Oh, man. I can't even think that far away right now. Maybe it's Persona 5 Tactica now. I really can't think of a lot of things in the fall that I'm really jazzed for, like right now. I mean, that new WarioWare game looks pretty cool, too, whenever that's coming out. I mean, I'm a sucker for WarioWare, so...
Well, I mean,
but there's not much. I mean, I really want that stupid Crime Boss Rockade City game, but I think that comes out like next month, and it got really terrible reviews. And did you see they dropped the price to $40 already?
I did not know.
Yep.
That's not good.
It's already $40.
That's not good.
No, it is not. That's supposed to be a $70 game.
Curtis, I think my answer. I mean, Pixel Junk Scrappers comes out in July on the PlayStation, but that's obviously not holiday release. So if we're going holiday release, I'm going to have to say Alan Wake 2, which I believe comes out in October.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That actually looks really good. I mean, I wonder what... do we have any info on when that next Dark Pictures game is coming out?
If it's out there, I haven't seen it.
Because I would like to know when that's coming out, because I can't wait for that.
Well, they just came out with a Quarry last year, didn't they?
Well, no, the Quarry was actually a game they made for what the hell was that system called that failed? That fucking piece of garbage.
Ouya or
Not Ouya. Ouya was the one before
Stadia?
that. I know. Or Stadia, yes, it was a Stadia exclusive, and then they were like, okay, well, Stadia failed, so we're gonna put it on everything now. But that actually was supposed to be a Stadia exclusive. How sad would that have been if that was stuck on Stadia? That game's awesome. Did you play that? Did you play that, Alex?
yeah. Sorry, I keep going in and out on my headphones. Was it Stadia?
That is probably my favorite Dark Pictures game.
Sorry, which one was that? I didn't hear you.
And it's not even a Dark Pictures game technically. The Quarry was my favorite game that they made. Besides the oh my god, why can't I remember the name
Little
of it?
Hope. House of
No.
Ashes.
Their first game that they did.
Medan?
Oh god, no, their first
Until
one
Dawn?
that they did with Until Dawn. That's my favorite PS4 game. So People think-
not part of the Dark Pictures anthology though.
I know it's not, but it's their first game that they did in that per horror game they did, which I think is it's an amazing game, and it still stands up today. And I think it's like the barometer that I kind of gauge those games. If it's not as good as that game, then which I think only 2 of the games really measure up to that level. Maybe 3 of them actually. I really liked and I haven't played the last one yet. I haven't played Devil in Me yet, so been waiting for a sale. Did you play Devil in Me yet?
I haven't played any of the Dark Pictures anthology. I own Man of Medan. I just
Oh,
haven't
you should
played
play them. You should play them. And if you want to play Man of Medan, I'll play it with you, and we can play it via online. And this way, you can experience the game in 2-player co-op, kind of the way it's meant to be played, where I don't tell you what I'm doing, and you don't tell me what you're doing, and then our consequences have actions.
Sounds good to me.
And that is the way to play those games. Because if you play them with your friend and you're telling everybody what you're doing, you can easily make all the survivors survive without a problem. But if you don't know what I'm doing and I don't know what you're doing, it can make for a really fun time. Let me tell you, Corey and I have had plenty of. We did one Extra Life stream where we played one of those straight through, all the way from the beginning, and it was a blast because it was like watching a movie. We didn't stop. We played it from the beginning to the end.
Well, if you want to get all,
We did that with actually.
if you want to get all the trophies, you're probably going to have to do a no death run where everyone survives.
You do. All of them have no death runs, but they also have certain objectives where you have to kill certain people or have only the guys survive or only the females survive. So they do a good job of making you come back and play. So, and I definitely want to get the platinum in Quarry. I just haven't gone back, and I actually want to play it on PS4. I haven't done that either. I played it on PS5 first. But yeah, Yield, are you excited for any fall games?
I have my guess as to what he's going to say, but I'll let him get it out there.
To Helldivers?
Yeah, that's what it is. It was the only thing I really had on my radar, unless it gets delayed again, was Skull and Bones. But then Helldivers came out, and that's now to the top of the list.
Isn't there rumors that it might get canceled now?
I don't know.
I think that rumor's always been floated out there.
I quit. The only time I see anything is when there's, oh hey look, it got pushed again or something. I'm just tell me when it's either not coming or when it comes.
I feel like they have to release it at this point, right? They put millions and millions of dollars into this game. It's got to see the light of day, right?
Well, you would sure hope so.
That hasn't been the same for all things, TV or game. Sometimes they.
I know,
that,
but it'd almost be like if Nintendo was like, "Yeah, we're just not doing Metroid Prime 4 now. We're just canceling."
I think they would never tell us that. They would just gradually let it die off and never mention it again.
They just release a different game and be like, "Oh yeah, here's a new Metroid game. Here's Metroid Prime Hunters 2."
Our good friend Sid wants to know, how is everyone? I'm doing just grand,
Alive.
Sid. Joe, Yield.
Yeah, I've been doing good. Enjoyed my shutdown this week. Now I got to go back to normal life.
Oh man, you were off for a week?
I was off all week. Yeah,
That's awesome, dude. Congrats.
It was awesome.
Work in the
Now I
auto
gotta
industry there, Joe.
Now I got to go back to life for what is it? Till the end of the month. Then I got a 3-day weekend coming up at the end of the month. So
It's just nice to be alive, honestly. That's one thing. Every day that I get to breathe another breath is, it's a win for me.
Well, that's certainly the first step, because you can't do shit else if you don't got that.
No, I mean, I had a really good weekend. Over here where I live, it was my town's day. like our day of the year or whatever, like to honor our town. So
like Pioneer Day,
fireworks.
Pioneer Days, where everyone comes out and has their own apple pie at a stand, and
that's awesome. I want apple pie. Apple pie is amazing. It's the best pie there is.
The town barbecue, town potluck, everyone come and celebrate.
That's amazing. There's like food trucks galore yesterday, and there's lots of food to be had. I spent like $21 on empanadas last night, which are amazing, and I have no regrets or no regrets. But yeah, it's good to be alive. It's good to have friends. It's good to be on the show, and I hope you're doing well across the pond, man.
Thomas Crawford, who I believe is a Loot Brothers fan who's migrated over to Trophy Horse, has a few questions for us.
Daddy.
Thomas asks, okay, JP, which I'm assuming is Joe Priestley, stands for money.
Yeah.
What games have you traded in because they weren't money? Oh, go ahead, sir.
I don't know. It's a hard question to answer because it's been so long since I've traded in a game. I'm talking like years, like maybe 5 years, 6 years since I've traded anything in. I don't trade things in anymore. I value my games now, and even if they're crappy, I just keep them. And even if I beat them quickly, I keep them. I understand I could sell them for monetary value or whatever, but I like to collect, honestly, and I like to have stuff on my shelf that I can look at and be proud of.
Yeah, for the most part, it's been me trading in games has been because, well, I buy mostly digital now, so I don't have to worry about trading in games. But on the PS3 era is really the last time that I traded in games. And, there were some games that I traded in, like Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, which I really enjoyed. They were good games, but I just tried to clear out stuff because I'm a minimalist and I don't want to have a bunch of stuff lying around. But the only games I could think of, I believe I bought a Metal Gear Solid collection to try to play 2 and 3. But there were some Metal Gear games that I tried to play. I assume I bought them physically. I can't really remember, but I stopped playing those shortly after I started them because I just can't deal with that brand of stealth. So that would be the only games I think that I traded in that I just didn't like all that much were the Metal Gear Solid games.
I tried so hard to like Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, I tried. But, like, they just forced me to play, and I hate stealth games, too. I'm not a stealth game fan either. What was the other one that was really stealthy on PS4 that was everyone was like really like high on? Was it Dishonored?
Yeah, made by Arcane.
Yeah, I liked Dishonored because like it didn't force me to play it in stealth, or Assassin's Creed. Like they don't force me to be stealthy. Like if I want to be, I can do that. And I can get those trophies or beat the game that way. But like I don't necessarily have to do that. And I appreciate when games don't force me to play a certain way if I don't want to, or if I suck at that particular way of playing. Like I felt even like Souls games, like you can like level up to like an umpteenth level to like make the game like even a little bit easier, and I think that's kind of like the workaround for Souls games. If you suck at them, just keep playing and you'll eventually get better. Like Souls games are you're meant to die and you're meant to retry, and you get better. But yeah, I mean, I'm still sticking with the answer that I really just don't trade anything in. And yeah, stealth games I'm not a fan of them either, Alex. So, Yield, what about you, man?
The last time I traded in games was when I was laid off and didn't have the money to keep buying games. So it was trade in games that you're done with so you could keep buying some games. And that pained me to do that. So I tend not to trade in games.
I honestly feel like the new way like gaming works now is it's very much more friendly for people who don't have jobs, because like if you could afford a Game Pass subscription or a PlayStation Premium, you don't have to buy games anymore.
That is true.
Like I feel like if I don't really ever have to go in a store and buy a game ever again anyway. I don't have to. I choose to still buy games in a store, or I choose to still buy used stuff or go to the GameStop every once in a while if they have a good sale, but like I could literally just wait every 18 to 16 days and get more PlayStation games, so pretty set.
Got a couple.
And I don't think, and as you said, Alex, I don't think we'll ever catch up.
Yeah. We got Thomas with two more questions here. The first one is, if there is 2 wrestling games that exist in today's society that you can combine to make one game, which games and why? I'd have to say the graphics of the arcade darling WrestleFest with the grappling mechanics of No Mercy.
Ooh.
I always liked the SmackDown wrestling games from the PlayStation 2 era. So
I love them too. I like the PS1 ones better, actually. Yield.
That's what I want back, is those kind of games, but with more modern graphics. I like the simplicity of it, yet it was still challenging to play. Where now it seems like they've went, in my opinion, I haven't played any of the latest ones. I keep waiting for my buddy to go, no, this is the one you need to buy.
Honestly, this one's the one to buy.
They've gone all, what I like to say, Madden with it. And, you know, the PS2 ones was real simple, up, down, left, right, different button you hit, you had 4 moves with that. And now it all just seems like it's like a fighting game where you gotta do this, that, and this to do this one move. And it's like, I don't want to think like that. I just want simplicity.
No, I get you there, Yield. I will say the new game is very complex control scheme, but it's very rewarding. And the fact that you can do pretty much anything you can do on TV, which is amazing to think about. Like, if I want to lay somebody on the ropes, I can dump them on their head, like doing I could jump off the rope and do a DDT off the rope, or I can like push them against the rope and clothesline them over, or I can do the Randy Orton like middle rope DDT, and you set all that stuff up. You don't set it up from doing like a move. You actually like have to set it up by setting the move up, by setting them in certain positions in the ring, and it does get complicated, and the game does a really good job of like teaching you how to do it all. But it flows together so well. Like, unlike Madden, where I feel like the controls are pretty clunky and you don't always get the desired effect from doing what you want and pressing the buttons that you press, or even fighting games, I feel like WWE did a really good job with this game in 2K of like, if you press the button, it does what you tell it to do.
Gotcha.
And you can string things together pretty easily. I would say see, you don't have premium. See, if you have premium, you could check out 22, because 22 is on premium now. Alex, did you try 22?
I haven't played one since 2017.
You're just so like, no, I'm done. Like, I'll never do that again.
It's not that I'm done. It's just I put so much effort into that game, and it took me so long to get the platinum trophy that I'm just like, maybe someday.
No, I remember. I'm proud to be a small part of that. You know. I remember that night. that was fun. Yeah. But those are games that I feel like they have their audience, right? Like, they're made for a certain audience, and it's my audience, my friends, my group of friends. We love 2K23 because it plays like the TV show. Like, the presentation's spot on. You can make anybody you can think of. Like, the problem with AEW right now is it's so bare bones. Whereas, like, 2K23, I can make AEW in that game and play my own AEW universe. And I don't even need an AEW game to do it. So it, like, renders everything pointless. Like, that... Even playing it on PC, you can mod the crap out of the game and do anything you can think of, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I would say if you could pick it up on the cheap, Yield, maybe check it out. Maybe if you can get it for like $20, yeah, I would say go for it, because it's way better. I would say stay away from 2K20 because that game's complete garbage.
Well, they skipped a year because that game was so glitchy and bad.
Yeah, there was no 2K21. Thank God. 2K22 is really good though. 23 is just it's just completely better, and I like all the stuff that they added and all the online stuff. It makes the game like you go back to it every day. Like, I go back and get my dailies so I can get my booster packs and open those, and it's created quite a problem where I have to make sure I sign on every day. I wish I could just do it from my phone, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, and we got no problems here because Thomas is rolling with one more question. He asked, if they made the Wu-Tang Clan game for the modern PlayStation, what soundtrack should they use, and from which Wu-Tang albums, or should they take from individual Wu-Tang members? I'm going to be real honest. I don't know a lot about Wu-Tang, so...
I do.
I will say, Thomas, I can't answer your question, but I will say that if they made a Wu-Tang game, I would love for, again, them to have members in, like if they made a remake, or they did another Def Jam game, like Def Jam Vendetta or Fight for New York, I would love to see the Wu-Tang members included in that. But more than anything, like, maybe a Wu-Tang clan game that is like Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, like a side-scrolling beat-em-up, featuring some of the Wu-Tang members.
Yield, do you have a response before I go, or no?
No, you can go ahead and go, because...
Okay, so, I'm a huge Wu-Tang Clan fan, and I'm assuming these questions are more tailored towards you. Yes. Oh yeah. He was trying to give me some softballs to answer on the show. I know what he was doing. My boy was setting me up. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Much love. I love Wu-Tang. I'm actually going to see them in October. Super excited. I mean, no Method Man obviously because he doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. But we're not going to get into that. I would say obviously you would have stuff from 36 Chambers on there, Iron Flag. Any album really, but I would say you'd have to have the entire 36 Chambers album on there because Enter the Wu, 36 Chambers, probably one of the best rap albums ever. It's Wu-Tang's, first album and probably still their magnum opus. And I would honestly say I would want a Wu-Tang beat 'em up, like you said, Alex. I don't want a fighting game. I want to beat 'em up. I want to beat 'em up like Ninja Turtles, but with Wu-Tang characters, and like maybe them like making the ultimate rap album, or RZA has to go save his like sensei or master. I don't know. They can figure something out. Some really cool plot line. I know the fourth Harold and Kumar movie was gonna be that they were gonna go find like the ultimate like Wu-Tang like lyrics or record or whatever. Like that was like gonna be the whole plot of the fourth movie, but that never got made. Something to that accord. It had something to do with Wu-Tang. I know Thomas probably knows the answer more than I do. He knows fucking everything. Like seriously, the dude's like an encyclopedia of useless knowledge, and it's amazing. So I mean, like when we like quick side story. I don't know if you guys have time, but
how quick? Because I'm looking to wrap because it is on 9:30.
Oh, it's like real quick. So he really likes talking to me after the show, and we'll talk for like hours. And we talk about rap or like other stuff, and we get into some crazy conversations. We actually started trying to record some of those to save them for you guys for like Patreon stuff. So if you check out Lubros, check out our Patreon. We have exclusive content too. But yeah, no, that's my answer. I would make a beat 'em up game, and I would use the soundtrack from 36 Chambers.
In other Wu-Tang Clan news, Ghostface Killer is on. He wrote a song or performed a song with Raekwon on the Turtles Shredder's Revenge soundtrack. So.
Yes, he did. It's amazing. I actually heard that before the game came out because I was on their Facebook and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're making a game. We're making a song for the Turtles game." I'm like, "What?" Like it's my two favorite things like smashed together.
All right. Then we got some quick hit questions here from Daryl. Some more sorted questions. He asks, "What is the best film ever made, and why is Batman vs Superman?" Sid says, "I'm actually enjoyed the director's cut." Matt G says, "That's a funny way of saying Spider-Man No Way Home." Best film ever made. For me, it's Jaws. That movie invented the summer blockbuster, and it's still great to this day. Joe, do you have a movie?
Like the greatest of all time or favorite? Because like they're vastly different.
He says best film ever made. So your opinion on what the best film ever made is?
Man, that's really tough. Like there's like, you're talking about boiling down over 100 years of cinema into like one movie, right? Yeah. Jaws is your quintessential summer blockbuster. It did start summer blockbuster, but I will say, Mr. Spielberg is the king of summer blockbusters, and I think his best summer blockbuster of all time is definitely Jurassic Park, and it still stands up to this day. Like if you go watch it now, like the CG and the animatronics used in that film are just absolutely jaw dropping, and watching it in like 4K, like HD. It blows your mind still, and it doesn't look cheesy. You would think like a movie made that long ago would kind of look cheesy in 4K. Because I've watched like if you want to have a really good time, guys, go get yourself something to drink, something nice, and turn on that Ryan what was it? Not Gosling. Who's the one that plays Deadpool?
Ryan
Reynolds, right? Yeah. Put on that really shitty DC movie. What was it? Green Lantern, and watch how bad the effects are in 4K on your TV. Like it looks so terrible. It looks like you're like watching kids perform CG like in your house. It's terrible. It's like green screen basically. It's so bad. It's like laughable. But yeah, I would say Jurassic Park is the quintessential summer blockbuster. I also like Super 8. And again, I think Super 8's an amazing film too.
You got a movie that you would consider the best of all time, Yield?
No, I don't have a movie that I would consider the best of all time, but I definitely wouldn't consider a Superman movie the best of all time.
That's a turd sandwich.
We all know Daryl is likely joking about that.
No, he's not. He's serious. Like, he really thinks that movie's good. Like, I'm not gonna, like, we've talked for hours about how he thinks that movie's good, and like, I don't get it. But it's, again, I don't want to belabor the show.
Well, you can tell me if he's joking with this one. If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, why would it be Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water from Limp Bizkit? Matt G says, that's a funny way of saying Master Puppets. And Thomas says, both of you are very incorrect. It's actually Lifetime's Heavy Metal CDs, which is like 8 CDs in all. Honestly, I have such a mix of stuff that I like to listen to. I don't think I could pick one CD to listen to. I mean, I guess if I can only pick one, I'm going to go... Musically, I'll say Shinedown's Sounds of Madness, but even more than that, I would probably say the soundtrack to Okami, because it's got like a ton of songs on there, and it's all really good and beautiful and orchestral. So I might, in that tussle, I might have to pick. If I gotta pick one, I'll pick Okami. Either one of you got a CD that you could listen to just for the rest of your life, and only that one?
Boston's first album is pretty good, and Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation.
Ooh,
Joe, you got a CD?
if I had to pick one, it's tough. I mean, I love the Beatles. Like, I mean, my parents instilled it into me. I really like Magical Mystery Tour. It's my favorite Beatles album of all time. But if I had to pick one album, like, just to listen to on repeat, it's by a metalcore band called Underoath. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. And it's called Define the Great Line. And it's probably one of the quintessential metalcore albums of all time. And I could listen to it nonstop on repeat.
Daryl, with one more question here, says, if Tricky and Resident Daryl started a professional wrestling tag team, what would their name be? Michael Miller said the Fat Boys. Daryl says Two on the Nose. Michael says Tricky. Michael Tricky says Platinum Pansies. Daryl says much better. Curtis says Platinum Whores. Daryl says Getting Warmer. Do either one of you have a tag team name for Tricky and Daryl?
Two Bump Chumps.
The Spam Masters.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And they can come out to like really, really terrible like remix of like Axe and Smash's theme.
You mean good old Demolition?
Yeah, Demolition. Yeah, like I am the like we have to give them like cheesy ass names like Axe and Smash, but like Spams and like Plats are like something really cheesy. I am the Splam and he is the Plats and we are the Spam Boys, the Spam Masters. Like it's really cheesy. But they'd be like a Demolition tag team. They could even keep like the Gimp gear. I think that would actually fit their crappiness of their trophy getting.
I just want to see them come down to the aisle and have, the ring announcer, whether it be Samantha Irvine or Justin Roberts or whoever, say Can Spam.
Mike Rowan.
I want to hear the name Can Spam with Tricky and Daryl coming out wearing their dominatrix gear from Demolition. Following up with 3 more questions here, our final 3.
Jeez.
Rick says favorite James Bond actor in film. I'm not a huge fan of James Bond. They're really the only ones I watch for the Pierce Brosnan ones. So I'll say GoldenEye, just cause.
Yield, you got one?
No, I do not.
Really? I would think you were a James Bond man, Yield. You peg me as a Bond fan. You're not a Bond fan?
Okay, sorry. I was reading something. I didn't hear the question, so I was just trying to move this show.
Favorite Bond and Bond movie.
Favorite Bond movie? GoldenEye. Or not GoldenEye. Goldfinger.
Ooh, good one. I like it. Who's your favorite Bond, though?
It's got to be Connery. He's going to say Connery.
Okay, I was thinking so.
Connery followed very closely with Daniel Craig. Because Skyfall's up there with my favorite Bond movies.
Yeah, I really like Skyfall. It's probably my favorite. It's close. I like Skyfall. I like From Russia with Love. I really like From Russia with Love.
That's a good one. That's very underrated.
It's an underrated one. And my favorite Bond is either Craig or or Roger Moore. So
V wants to know what is the favorite topping on ice cream. I'm going to go with the toasted marshmallow.
Reese Cup or Reese Pieces.
hot fudge. It's just very simple. Vanilla ice cream, a hot fudge. That's all I need. Just for McDonald's too. Like McDonald's hot fudge is that little hot fudge sundae is my favorite ice cream in the world, and everyone thinks it's funny, but it is. I don't know why.
You like what you like. Finally, Camille wants to know what was the first video game you ever played. My answer is very simple: Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo.
That's what I'll go with, although I probably dabbled in something in Atari before then, but I couldn't give you which one I played, so I'll go Super Mario Brothers.
Mine was Circus on the Atari 2600, and then it was River Raid on the 2600. Yeah.
Love me some River Raid.
One of the best Atari games of all time, and one of the most expensive. And I own it somewhere in this house. I don't know where.
That is going to bring the end to the community questions, and that means we are going to get out of here. Before we do, we got to do some house cleaning and give our shout-outs. Joe, since you're the honored guest, why don't you go first and start us off?
Shout out to my awesome wife and my daughter for allowing me to be on here and not being so upset that I missed Sunday night dinner to do this with you guys. Shout out to Tricky, and I hope he enjoyed his time at the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I hope he enjoyed his time with his family, because I know he doesn't always get a lot of time with his family, so family's important. Shout out to my Mets for being absolutely terrible this season. You always make me proud every year. And shout out to you guys. Thank you for having me on. Seriously, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you two. I would love for you guys to come over to Loop Rose one night, but I know it's late, and I know Thursday nights don't really work for you guys. But I think maybe the three of us will do a sideshow, and I'll post it. So,
all right, sounds good. Yield, sir.
Shout out to Joe for filling in tonight. Always fun having him on. Shout out to Alex for putting together the show notes and hosting tonight. Shout out Tricky. Hope you enjoyed your vacation. Shout out to Nitro for Zombie Army. Shout out to The Brain, Homer Gets Stuff, Prepared Dire Scum for our co-op Fridays. Alex and Nitro and Homer showed up for some Rocket League on Thursdays. And as always, shout out to the Pimps and the Madams of the Whoredom. Thanks for hanging out, playing games with us, interacting with us. You guys are all awesome. And a shout out to V for doing everything behind the scenes.
We were not live tonight, but
that's all right. But still, a shout out to her for doing everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, getting us up and running last week and doing the community questions. V's awesome. Thank you, V. I'll start my shout outs by saying we have a wonderful community. The fuel to our fire here keeps the show going. There's no Trophy Horrors without you all, so thank you all very much for your continued support. Give a shout out again to V. Shout out to Matt, who was on last week. Always good to have him on, and we appreciate their involvement because they're not official hosts, but they definitely help keep the show running. So I want to thank both of them. Shout out to Tricky. I want to second hope he's had a great vacation. Despite the spiders that they found in their hotel room. But hopefully he enjoyed his time away while we kept everything burning here on Trophy Horrors. Shout out to Yield and to Joe. Good to talk wrestling with you, Joe. Good to talk Turtles. And yeah, last but not least, I want to give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hun. So yeah, with that, thank you all for listening. Again, everything you all do is so very much appreciated. And we'll see you all next week for 580. Man, 580. How do we get to that point? See you all next week. And until next week, happy trophy hunting. I think it's because Tricky is so gung ho for it, and then maybe that's what you don't like about it.
No, I don't even know if it's that. I don't know. Oh man, it's just so cringy, I think. And I think that's an answer somebody else gave when they didn't like it either. Maybe it was Zach from our show as well. I think he said it was like cringy and didn't like it either. But I don't know. It's your guys' thing. It's a staple of your show. So I don't expect you guys to stop doing it. It's almost like if you didn't have your outro song, or we didn't have our outro song, people would be like, where the hell did the song go? Like, seriously. Like, I think Daryl left it off the show 1 week and everyone's like, where the hell's the song? Like, everybody loves that intro song. And it's a pretty damn good song to start a podcast off with, but so is yours. Like yours is iconic. That's what starts off Trophy Horse and what ends Trophy Horse. So, you know, without it, and even the Steve part, like the Steve part is my favorite part of the whole intro. And if you guys ever get rid of it, I'd be like really upset.